It is initiated. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 22 of the Deadhead Podcast. And holy shit, I'm professional as hell. Welcome back. Yeah, it's great. Starting off good. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for anybody who's been coming and checking us out every 2 weeks, and to all newcomers as well. And we appreciate having you, whether you're new or old here. And today we'd like to introduce our reoccurring guest at this point. I've had Emmett on twice, and we've had Brandon on, like 3 or 4 times now?
Something like that.
And Emmett would be on your top right, Brandon would be on your bottom right. These got two cool dudes, and we figured I'd bring them on for the show. Jan agreed to have them on to talk about the Last of Us HBO series, at least like in the words of Brandon. We'll talk about it for 20 minutes and divulge into other things. But we'll at least start off with the Last of Us HBO. I know we're a little late on this. What are we, like 3 or 4 weeks after the finale? So I know we're a little late, but I figured this would be a good time with everything that's come out. We can actually really sit down and talk about it in full. And it should be a good one. So with that being said, how's it going, everybody? What's been going on? We'll start with Brandon, man, because it's been a few weeks. It's been a couple weeks since we had you on. I know hasn't been super long. How's it going, Brandon?
Yeah, pretty good. Same old. I told you personally, Dylan, but I went back to my second job the other day. Mm-hmm. So last week, so I'm working 2 jobs again. It's seasonal though. I'm not working it all the time. I do it by choice. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I appreciate you coming on. By the way, to let everybody know, Brandon came on last minute. I was talking to him yesterday, just checking in with him, because I hadn't talked to him in a good bit. I haven't checked in on him, and he said he had availability. So we brought him on. He said he had time. So we appreciate you, brother, for coming on the show last minute. I had somebody else lined up who's a huge, avid, Last of Us HBO fan, and I thought that would have been interesting to have him on to talk shit with for 20, 30 minutes or an hour if we get it going. But we appreciate you coming on, man. So Emmett, how's it going, man? It's been a while since we had you on. How's it going?
Oh yeah, I think I came on last time in January.
First episode of the year. Yeah.
It's been going good, man. Just been working and trying to get my studio finished and repaired.
Yeah, you
damn fucking bugs. Sorry.
Yeah, you said working, and I thought you were about to say working out, because I see I seen a barbell right behind you.
Yeah, I literally just bought that today. I have to. My physical therapist said I had to buy it because I have a bunch of dead muscle tissue on my back. Ooh. And I got to reactivate it all. Basically, I have like the spine of an old man per se. And yeah, so I guess over time, I was supposed to originally go to a doctor, and I never went to a doctor, so I just stopped moving in positions that hurt, and doing that just killed a bunch of muscle. And so every time I move around, I'm just in pain sometimes. So I have to get these damn barbells to put myself back into pain.
Yeah.
But yeah, mostly that. I got a new hot tub and stuff also for my back. But other than that, it's been cleaning up my back patio area, getting everything finished in the studio, and video games. And being a dad, of course.
Yeah.
That's part-time, though. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, mostly just gaming, working, and just hanging out, man.
Hell yeah, that sounds good. Jan, what's been going on, Jan? How you doing, man? It's good to see you again.
Oh, I can't complain. I'm always here. I'm always the same one every week or every 2 weeks. Mostly doing my spring cleaning, and that's about it. Same old.
Hell yeah! You told me you finished Resident Evil 3 today and platinumed it, right?
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, just finished my.
You need to buy Resident Evil 3?
No, the new Resident Evil.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Resident Evil 4.
I've been playing 4 for the past few days, actually.
I'm starting soon.
This is why I didn't buy a chainsaw today.
I've beaten it twice. I played it on. It says in the menus. It says play hardcore if you beat the original Resident Evil 4. And I've beaten it. I actually just played it fully for the first time, the original one, a couple weeks ago, leading up to Resident Evil 4 remake. And it said so when I booted up the remake, it said pick hardcore if you've already played Resident Evil 4. And I'm like, that doesn't, okay, I guess that makes sense. But I'm playing on standard, right? And I'm going through my first playthrough, and I'm dying a lot. like a lot.
It is hard.
It's hard as shit. And so like I'm sitting there like, what? So you're telling me like, so if I've beaten this game before, so I guess they just assume that you beat Resident Evil 4 like 50 times, I guess. Because like this shit's hard. So I kept it on standard for my first playthrough. I went through hardcore. I started a professional playthrough and I was like, holy shit, like it takes like 10 or 15 shots to kill one Ganado. And then I think now I'm playing it on I'm trying to get this trophy right now where I'm playing on assisted and I'm using only a handgun only, handguns and knives. And you don't talk to the merchant. So I'm playing it on the easiest playthrough to try to
just to stress yourself out.
Yeah,
Clearly.
just stress it out. Yeah, clearly, yeah. So, yeah, so I think everybody knows the game is phenomenal. So, Jan, start it whenever you can. Emmett, go ahead and buy it. And Brandon,
Oh, it's downloading right now.
You need to finish. Oh, so you did? You just bought it?
Oh yeah.
All right, man. Damn.
Hell yeah, dude! It's awesome. It's awesome. I think y'all like it. I just got burnt out because I played so many Resident Evil games leading up to it that I've been playing Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order just to get ready for the new game. So like I'm just trying to like get away from Resident Evil because I was getting really, really burnt out from it. So but to be honest with you, it's been so busy, one thing after the other. As far as what I've been doing, I've had a couple doctor's visits, nothing crazy, but I've had to go to the doctor a few times, having some health issues on top of working, trying to stay in shape, trying to do things with the channel, trying to update some stuff. It's just been a lot of stuff going on. So It feels good. It feels good to be back here again. Appreciate you, Emmett and Brandon, especially Brandon for coming on here last minute, man. I appreciate you.
For sure.
Jan, the best co-host I could ask for. And with that being said, let's talk about the Last of Us HBO, right? That's what we're all here. So who do I want to pick to start it off, right? General thoughts, okay? Who do I want to start with? Eeny, meeny, miny. Let's go with Brandon.
Okay. It seems like I go first a lot. Also,
Yeah,
I need to interject real quick. I hear a cricket. Who has a cricket?
Sounds like a ceiling fan squeaking.
Is it? Oh, it sounds like a cricket.
Yeah, I hear it over and over and over and over again. I don't
like right now.
Yeah, it sounds like a cricket to me, and I was like, I don't know
I hear it. I hear it too, but I don't. I just thought maybe it's just like a mic or something. I don't even know if it's might be my headset. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't hear it. Maybe it's me. I don't know. But I wouldn't know what it is. I don't know. I live in like an urban sprawl. I don't have any crickets laying around, so I don't.
It sounded like a cricket.
Oh, sorry. Let me move my box of crickets.
That'd have been something. Like, okay.
No, I looked up because I thought it was a ceiling fan, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, that's a good description for it, because that's what I thought. I had to look up for a second to make sure it wasn't mine. But yeah, we're all good here. But if you don't
hear it,
yeah.
Maybe it is me because I can hear shit. To me, it's that silent. I don't know.
It might be. I don't know. Somebody's got a pet cricket. Anyway, Brandon, if you don't want to go first, you don't have to.
No, it's fine. I just had to point that out real quick, just in case.
Well, usually you're the guest on, so I try to let you guys, give your explanation.
Yeah,
first,
for sure. Well, I think we talked about it briefly whenever I was on last, but I really enjoyed the show. I thought it did a lot of new things to make it feel fresh while also simultaneously staying true to the source material, because there was a lot of moments where that reminded me, I was like, wow, that moment looked like it was ripped straight from the game. So I thought it maintained what made it great in the first place while also managing to stay fresh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I got you. Yeah. No. I mean,
the gist of it.
That makes sense. All right, Emmett, what you got? General thoughts, man, about the Last of Us HBO.
I didn't have any issues with it, other than I didn't like one scene in particular, and it was when for some reason, hold on, I got it pulled up.
Is it the kiss scene?
Yes, the infected getting in her face, stuffing the fucking. There was no need for that. I didn't need to see it. I'm trying to make my surviving the zombie apocalypse. Like, I don't need. What the hell? That was the only issue I had. Everything was amazing with the show. I had no problem with the cast. Pedro Pascal is fucking amazing in every movie where he's got to be a dad, or every show that he's a dad in. No, I think it was pretty good. I I like the relationship between them in general, just because I played the game so many times. It was one of my first PlayStation games I ever played. When I moved in with my wife, like right when we were beginning a relationship, I didn't have any video game systems because I left them in my old house, and she had a PS3 laying there with the Last of Us game. And I was like, man, I'm gonna have to try this out. Terrifying as shit the first time I played it. And when the show came out and when they were talking about it coming out, I was like, oh man, they're gonna mess this up. They're gonna make this is gonna be fucking terrible. No one's gonna watch it. It's gonna be like the Halo TV show or something. And no, it came out. I didn't have any issues with it. Every episode I liked, other than that weird kissing scene. Fucking, I like how you can see future characters being portrayed already for the next season. I really like that. I like the character development over Joel that you can visually see in different aspects other than the game. So when in the show, you can see him. He's kind of like an agitated dad. You can see, or he's not even come off as a dad for the first few episodes. He's kind of just surviving. He's kind of an asshole. If anything, because of course he's lost his own kid. He's just trying to survive. His brother's somewhere across the country, and he's just trying to survive day by day. And then, of course, Ellie comes in, and now he's like, oh, man, he treats it like a job at first, and then he's like, oh, man. Just watching the whole emotional development between him and Ellie, really great. I loved it. Had no issues with the show other than the one scene. I thought it was great. I give it like a 9.9 out of 10.
All right, Jan. You're up.
Well, you must know what my thoughts are, but to resume, I also really liked it, and after rewatching it, I liked it even more. I think that I completely accepted this version of the characters and of the story, and actually, I've come to a point where actually the scenes that I dislike the most are the ones that try to emulate the scenes from the game, right? Because I feel like the show is best when it's doing its own thing, right? It's their version of Joel and Ellie. So when they try to recreate a scene from the game, they try to do some sort of like cheeky wink to all the people who played it. Yeah. It feels very rushed. It feels forced. It doesn't feel natural at all. They just, they're saying these quotes out of nowhere. Well, not mostly out of nowhere, but it doesn't feel, there's not the same flow as there is with the rest of the dialogue. I think that even if you hadn't played the game, you kind of point out which quotes are from the game just because they're so out of left field. But even those, they're not bad. They're simply, they're just not as good as everything else. And everything else, I just agree. Pedro Pascal is fucking great. He's fantastic. I love that he's more human in this iteration. He's weaker. He's an old man. It's more realistic that way, which also makes his final rampage in the hospital, that much more impactful. Seeing him being that violent. You don't see him being that violent for the whole show, but only in the very end, we get to see that side of him, which kind of, lets us know how much he has come to care for Ellie. So, as I said, I liked it when I first saw it. I liked it even more after rewatching it.
I also want to point out, if I forgot to, and I'm sorry if I'm interrupting, I'm just not going to remember if I don't comment on it. I like the realism of certain aspects of the show versus the game. You realize the moment that Joel picks up a rifle and runs around with it for 5 minutes, you're like, ammunition's going to be pretty scarce for this gun. And then the next scene is literally him hiding the rifle in the floorboard. And she's like, why are you putting that away? And he's like, we're not going to have ammo for this. This is going to be, whereas in the game, you run around like a monster and with anything that you find. And I was like, okay, I get that. Because you're not going to run around with an M4 if you're not, because ammo's not going to be, it's going to be scarce. And with little aspects and scenes like that, I appreciate it and I liked. But I just wanted to comment on that real quick. Sorry.
No, that's good. No, that's a good point. I will say too, and this isn't my argument to you, Emmett, but I did see that somebody had said that apparently that particular rifle was it an M4? Look, I don't remember. I know a little bit about guns, but I'm not like I can't look at it and be okay. That's what that is. I'm not sure, what kind of rifle it is. However, I did see somebody make the argument that apparently that particular rifle is chambered in 5.56. It's the size of the round. Apparently, 5.56 is one of the most common rounds in the country. So they were trying to make the argument that there would be. However, if this is like 23 years into
20
this?
years.
Okay, well then it probably, yeah, like you say, there wouldn't be any ammo around unless you
A
got
lot
somebody
of
who can
there'd be
make
ammo
it.
around, but it's gonna be hard to tell what ammo's good and what's not because you're gonna be
Yeah.
popping off a lot of bad ammunition. It's gonna fuck up your gun.
Yeah, it's not exactly that. Yeah, that rounds have any kind of shelf life, but I imagine that long, and they've been stored. I imagine they wouldn't be as efficient. But no, listen. So my spiel is that I wasn't able to watch the entire show. That was my whole plan. I watched like the first 3 episodes, and then I had to kind of watch those in segments. I couldn't watch them fully because, like I said, I've just been so busy these past 2 weeks. But upon rewatch and kind of watching over some scenes, I will say that I've been very, very harsh on this show, and it's for a lot of reasons. One, I'm sure me and Jan can talk for 3 hours about this game in particular because we love this story, we love these characters, and so I'm very critical. If they're not done the right way, I'm gonna have a little issue with it, and so I have. But and for people watching, I've made a review for each episode of this show, and I've been positive every single time. I've given each episode a 6 or higher every time. It's been 6 or 7 for most episodes because while it's not really for me, I can't sit here and say that it's absolute garbage because that's not fair. There's people out here who give like episode 3, right, a very controversial episode to most people, giving it a 0 out of 10. I don't agree with that.
What was that?
That's the Bill,
the gay
episode.
one.
Yeah.
The gay
Oh
one, yeah.
God, he literally says he's gay
The
in the game.
Brokeback
There's
Mountain
gay
one,
porn in the game.
Yeah,
I knew that was going to happen though, because that happens with every show that shows any bit of wokeness.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, and that's what I'm saying. Like the people that give it like a 0 out of 10. No, I don't agree with that. Now I do agree that it's average. I do believe that. And I watched it again just recently. And I still feel that way. For episode 3 in particular, and it has nothing to do with their relationship. I just think that I've seen that before. And also too, I don't think it really shares any significance to Bill's story and what he's trying to portray to Joel. Like somebody was saying some kind of dumb shit about the letter, and maybe you guys believe, if you guys agree with it, that's fine. But the letter that Bill leaves for Joel when he comes to Bill's town, and obviously he doesn't know that Bill's dead. You find, and I did think that was really neat with the radio signal playing the song, meaning that that something had happened. You guys remember that? Yeah. And I thought that was really neat. I like that. But someone was saying online, and I thought it was really stupid. They said that the note that Bill had left for Joel, right? And in the letter, Bill tells Joel that you need to look out for the people you love, and he knew that one person was Tess, right? Well, immediately you see like Joel reading this, and obviously it's hitting him pretty hard that he lost Tess. But someone online said something like Joel needed to read this letter to find out that he needed to care for Ellie or something like that, like to actually have a full attachment to her in a sense that he's like her protector. And I'm sitting there like, that's pretty blatantly and in your face, because I never felt like that in the game. In the game, it was something progressively as they went through their journey. He started to open up that piece of that Sarah was that piece of Sarah that was still within him. It finally was starting to come out because he remembered those feelings again with Ellie. He doesn't need to read a stupid fucking letter to do that. I thought that was like, I don't know. Again, if that's what most people believe, that's fine. But I just think that's a really dumb explanation to give him like the what's the word, like the to make him want to care for her in a more fatherly fashion because he reads a freaking letter. I feel like it's kind of stupid. I don't know if you guys agree with that or not. I don't think that needs to be that blatantly obvious to tell Joel, hey.
No, I kind of agree. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, hey, or even if you're talking about Tess, hey, you need to take care of Tess. Well, no shit. Like, I don't think you need to say that in a freaking letter. That's not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Oh, what I was going to say is that I don't think that was the whole point of the episode. I think the point of the episode was, portraying how two people would live in this apocalypse, right? Because throughout the whole show, we see a lot of survivors, surviving in a lot of different kind of ways, and
that requires help. Like you see other people trading with other people constantly, where you see. Yeah. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
Right.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. I welcome it. So and you see Bill and Frank, which were in this kind of a very special condition, right? In the apocalypse, and I guess I just wanted to show it a bit to explore it a bit further, right? Because we do see in the game, Bill is kind of on his own, right? Even the whole level where you find him is called Bill's Town, right? He owns the place. He's rigged the whole place with traps. pretty much understood that he's, he has no contact with the outside world, so he is surviving somehow, right? So I guess in the show they kind of try to explore that, how would we go around doing that? So that's what made me really like that episode, honestly.
Yeah. Honestly, I thought there was going to be more episodes like that. I thought they were going to be I thought the next episode after that would be another like Joel and Ellie thing continuing. And then the next episode after that would be another pretty much half or more or less, more than half the episode would be about another character from the show and just other things. I don't have any problem with them branching out on any of the side characters. If anything, that's what I thought the majority of the show would be about. And then it would elaborate on the Joel and Ellie stuff.
Right.
And like I said, I liked it too because in the game you talk to him for maybe 25, 30 minutes total.
Yeah.
I don't even remember how long. I don't think the mission with him is even that long.
Yeah, and 45 minutes tops. It's not. I mean, depending on how you play it too. I mean, Bill's Town has a lot of a lot of buildings that can be explored, and a lot of things you can kind of scavenge. But yeah, as far
I
as
haven't
the
gotten
story
back
goes,
to that point in the game because I bought it again for PC, and I haven't. I'm right at the end, or I guess the beginning, where you play as Joel after the apocalypse.
Yeah,
and I've so many other games.
Is it bad?
No,
is it running decently?
No,
it's amazing.
I mean the PC port. I've heard the PC port of The Last of Us.
I will say a lot of the reviews saying the PC port is terrible are people with old as fuck PCs.
Yeah,
the game specifically says you have to have modern hardware in order to run the game. Steam data even shows that majority of Steam users have i5s for processors and 1050 Ti's for graphics cards. So that is not enough to run this game. And you also pre-pandemic PC sales, so that has a lot to do with a lot of reviews on higher end games that come out now. My PC rig is maxed out. I have not had an issue with any game in a long time at all. And so I know as long as your parts are upgraded and I'm not saying top of the line, but if your parts aren't more than 3 years old, your game, you'll be able to run it no problem. Right? Because when I saw the reviews the next day, I was like, "What?" I was like, "I'm running it in 4K. It looks beautiful. I'm seeing the sweat on these people's faces. Like, I don't understand what y'all's problem is." And then come to find out, and you look at them, and I'm like, "Well, what is your specs?" And they're playing on i5s and fucking. PC's parts that came out during when the first game came out on PlayStation 3.
Wow.
All right, that makes a lot of sense. No, because I saw some of the screenshots and they were fucking jarring, right?
Well, that's what I was like. I was like, I'm not getting anything like this. I realized while I was playing the game, because I was like, man, my game, when the first 15 minutes I was playing it, I was like, man, I feel like it could look a little bit better. And I realized I was playing in 1080p on basic low settings. And I was like, nah, I'm maxing this shit out. Maxed it out. Looked beautiful. You could see tire movement on the truck, all this shit. I'm like, damn. And of course I had to hop off because it was bedtime and I got to go to work the next day. But like I said, I was at work and I saw all these reviews saying it was bad. And I'm like, what are you guys talking about? And I don't know. They say that a lot about a lot of the ports. What is it? Death Stranding, when that came to PC, a lot of the PlayStation, like Sony games, people are like, "This is terrible."
So Spider-Man was pretty rough too.
No, Spider-Man ran perfectly fine on my PC too. That's why I was like, again, it's a lot. When they run these reviews, you got to look at their hardware. If they don't list their hardware and why it was bad, I don't really take the review into consideration. For PC anyway. So if you're having bad performance on console, that's console's issue.
Right. So the majority of PC players, and I know this kind of there you go, Brandon. You were just said it 20 minutes in. Now we're talking about the Last of Us game on PC. Listen, so are you saying the majority of PC players just have old rigs then? Because I mean, the overwhelming
you have to think during the pandemic and everything, past few years, prices on everything PC wise skyrocketed. Graphics card prices doubled because of crypto, so it wasn't as easy for everybody to build their own like high-end PCs like I have. I fucking saved up paychecks for mine. And so I can understand why majority of people wouldn't have high-end parts because of the past few years. But it also, like during the pandemic, that's when people started buying cheap PC builds because of everybody wanted to be a streamer. Everybody wanted to do this. And it got famous because everybody was at home because of the pandemic. So what do people want to do? They wanted to play PC games. And you can even look at the stats on that. That's when most PC parts sold. You can look at NZXT's website. They sold the most. They're the biggest company that sold the most pre-builds during that time. And again, i5s and 1050s, and it's because they were the cheapest ones out of the ones that were available.
Yeah.
And so you got all of those people who mass bought these PCs, mass sold them, and then mass bought them. They're getting on here and they're like, "Oh, Rust isn't running fine. This game that requires all these parts isn't running great." Well, and I will say, I only looked into this because I did the same thing when I bought my first PC. I bought the shittiest PC and I didn't realize it was shitty. And I tried to run high-end games and I'm like, this isn't working. Why isn't Rust working? Why isn't this working? And it's those same people that get online and they're leaving the reviews. This game sucks. This port sucks. Blah, 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 blah. I felt the same way. But then I realized it was my hardware. And yeah. So now I'm not watching Ellie's hair frizz up and get big like a bobblehead or anything or Joel's arms wigging out behind him. I'm not getting none of that shit. I'm just watching them. I'm playing a movie and it looks amazing.
Well, that's good to hear then, because overwhelmingly it's absolute dog shit. But I will say, do you think that I get it. Like if you have the most modern tech, then obviously you're not going to have as much issue with it. But do you think that would it come down at the end of the day, the people that port the game over, that it wouldn't be more accessible to?
Oh no, a portion of it is. I will give them. I'll give them a little bit of hate too. These companies are supposed to create better ports for other people with older hardware to have easier access to play these games. I will give other people with generic equipment benefit of the doubt. You're not supposed to have to upgrade your PC every fucking 2 years. But these developing companies that make these games, they do end up, like I said, they put harder requirements on the ports, and they did have to update it. I won't say that it was straight up perfect for me, or perfect for everyone with a high-end PC, because they released an update the next day with performance issues and stuff like that. So I won't say the game itself didn't have issues, because there probably was for if I had the time to play it for the first 8 hours it came out. But I bought it at 9 p.m. and I played it for 2 hours, and I was like, this game's awesome. And like I said, next day I saw, store page right now, the reviews are now mixed. They were as that day it came out on March 28th, that day, it was overwhelmingly negative. Now the reviews are mixed.
Well, that's good. For a lot of you PC players who have either played the original or you haven't played it yet, I mean, you're up for a real treat if you got the right specs. I mean, I wouldn't dare try it on my PC. I don't upgrade it nearly enough, and I'm just going to stick with consoles. So that's how I'm just going to do. I
personally believe if you have, I will say on my laptop, I ran it also perfectly fine in ultra settings with an i7 and a 280 Ti. I did have to lower the settings a little bit down to medium, or some of them down to medium. But other than that, the game still looked amazing. So,
how about
that was
Steam?
On a laptop?
How about on Steam Deck? Have you tried it on there?
I have not.
Oh,
I booted up my Steam Deck for the first time in the past week just to play Dredge. But yeah,
what the hell is Dredge?
A little tiny fishing game. We don't want to divert from The Last of Us.
right. Sorry. Go on. I was doing it again.
Yeah, we do this shit all the time.
I'm gonna check real quick and make sure. Like I said, anybody else can throw their opinions out real quick.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say this to finish up the whole. I brought up the Steam Deck with. I was looking into one of those, and I'm gonna do the exact same thing I did to my other handhelds. I get my Switch. I played it for 3 days, and the shit's just been collecting dust. I can literally make.
I will say I play with my Steam Deck a lot more than my Switch. I don't even really have a need for my Switch other than from when people come over and we play multiplayer games.
Yeah.
Right. Other than that, I don't even use it anymore because every single game I bought on my Switch were games I wanted on Steam. And now I have a perfect little PC to play that for me in the road, because I make my wife drive everywhere, because I drive to work all day, every day, an hour there, an hour back. So weekends when she's driving, I play this bad boy.
I wouldn't dare. I don't trust my wife's driving that good. What was I going to say? Yeah, no, I think that's the new Zelda that's coming out. I used to love Zelda growing up, but I cannot keep playing at 30 FPS, man. I can't stand it. Ever since we upgraded to the PS5, I can't do it. Any game that said, for instance, I found out today on the Xbox and PC, they're getting Redfall, right? You guys heard of Redfall, right? That game got
delayed again.
It got delayed, but they also said it's going to release at 30 FPS on launch for the for current gen. And I'm that is unacceptable garbage. Y'all are garbage
Can't get
company.
anyway with that.
There's no way in hell that you should still be making 30 FPS games. That's bullshit. So anyway, but we'll get on to that in a minute.
I will say, as
yeah.
of right now, Last of Us apparently is not compatible with Steam Deck. It doesn't
shit.
run fluid. It's unsupported, I'll say. You can still play it. You might have some issues because the graphics, of course, aren't the best. But screenshots people are taking look pretty good. But officially not supported.
No, that would be cool to be able to take a game like that. Like, I mean, like, because Spider-Man's compatible, right?
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Like being able
I
to
play Spider-Man at like 70 FPS on that thing.
Dude, that's awesome. Like just being able to just chill, just laying in your bed and just playing Spider-Man. That's awesome. But again, like any portable console I ever get, I put it down after like the first 3 days I have it. So it's probably not even worth it, to be honest. Like I thought about saving up for it, but I'm like, man, I can get cameras, I can get another console for the office. I can do something besides spending
shit $700 for a maxed out one. You might as well save up some more and get a PC, brother.
Yeah, that's probably right.
I'm telling you, you're gonna make that switch. You're saying it right now. You're like, I'm gonna stick to console. You know who else said that? About 4 people living in my house. You know how many PCs I got laying around waiting for like a motherboard or something because they've been playing on mine? 4.
Damn, how many people you got living in your house?
I got my buddy and his brother who live downstairs.
Oh, okay.
So I'm building PCs for them. Built one for my wife, and then I had to build me another one.
I was about to ask you got a room? I was gonna say you got a room,
and not anymore. I had one.
How do we get on that subject? I don't even remember how.
You were talking about consoles, and we were talking about Last of Us performance on Steam, and then you mentioned Steam Deck.
Yeah, someone asked. Oh, that's what Brandon. I was asking how the performance was.
Yeah, he was talking about the game, and I just asked him how well it runs on PC, and then we just kind of went with it.
I'm so sorry.
It's all right. That's usually how things go. All right, well, fine. We'll move on to the next. So, to finish up my overall thoughts on it, I do like after watching some of the scenes backwards. One of my favorite scenes from the entire show, and I felt like a little tear come up, right? And I didn't think I'd feel this way about the show because up to this point, I'm like, this is the worst piece of shit I'm watching in like ever. But episode 6, where Joel is talking to Tommy and he's trying to get Tommy to take Ellie the rest of the way to the Fireflies, and he talks about how he's old and he feels like he can't protect her, and he feels like he's gonna lose her if he doesn't give her off to Tommy. And I could feel it. Somebody was like chopping some onions over there, and I was like, finally, that's what the fuck I want. Because look, I like Pedro Pascal, I do, but his line delivery in this show just was fucking me all up. Like there's the part where Ellie knows that Joel is looking to not get rid of her, but pass her on to Tommy. That whole conversation where she brings up Sarah, and Joel in the game is like, Ellie, you are treading on mighty thin ice here. Like the way he says it in his voice, I don't even have deep enough voice for it. This is how Pedro Pascal is. Okay, so here's Joel from the game. Joel's like, you have no idea what loss is. That's what he says in the game. This is Pedro Pascal in the show. You have no idea what loss is. That's his fucking delivery, bro. It like ruined it for me. I'm like, what the dude? Give me something, man. Put me in there, damn it. like make it more emotional. It's all about your delivery, man. Even like the way Ellie pushes it. You know, like everyone that I've ever loved is either left me or died. Everyone fucking except for you. It pushes Joel's chest and pushes him back. Like it just felt way more aggressive in the show than like in the game. In the game, it's almost like she's breaking, crying when she pushes Joel. You know what I mean? Don't tell me that it'll be all right because at the end I'll just be scared. You know, she says that to him, being open about it. And like I think what Jan was saying was how I interpret it is like I think I liked the show better too when it didn't focus on any of the game segments. I liked it better when it did reinvent the wheel a little bit more, because when it tried to copy those scenes, I'm seeing people on Twitter saying this shit's so riveting. Their acting is so good. I'm like, horse shit. I take a piece of the game from YouTube, I snip it, I put it on Twitter, and I'm like, this is how you do it. Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson kill it. Now, I think also, too, you got to look at it again. I think one of you guys has said it, that if you look at this show as its own thing, that's fine. But the delivery and that scene killed it for me, man. I'm not even gonna lie. Like that was one of my favorite conversations in the whole game. I'm on my 7th playthrough, guys. My 7th playthrough of The Last of Us Part 1. I stopped because all these other releases came out, so I took a little break. but I'm on my 7th playthrough, and I was skipping through a lot of the cutscenes, getting to more of the combat sections because you can just do the combat encounters. But I like playing through the whole game, and I'll stop on different like scenes that I know are coming up. And every time, dude, like when I want to skip a bunch of scenes, I get to that one where they have that conversation in that house about her not wanting to be alone and bringing up Sarah and all that. And every time that hits me hard. And this is my 7th playthrough, guys. You know how powerful that game is and that story is for it to do that to me. And that's my 7th time I played it. And the show, it just felt flat to me. And I think at the end of the day, I like the show way better than like I did like the final episode. I love the premiere. I thought the first segment with you got the scientists on stage and they're talking about cordyceps and all that stuff and talking about the fungal infection and all that. I thought that shit was great because they brought a great guy in. If you guys have ever seen The Mummy with Brendan Fraser,
yeah, I love that.
The guy, he's kind of like the comedic relief in those movies. He's the lead scientist on stage. Holy shit!
Oh
damn! I just got an Amber Alert too.
Yeah, so we.
What is an Amber Alert?
Missing kid alert.
It's a kid who's missing.
It's rich iPhone talk.
That is, oh my god, that is the scariest thing I've ever heard.
It does.
Oh my god.
For anybody watching, Brielle Silver, 9 years old, biracial female, brown hair, brown eyes, last seen in a black tank top, white shorts, and no shoes. Last seen on Jefferson Avenue in Newport News, Virginia, possibly with Bethany Good, white female, brown hair, hazel eyes. Maybe driving a gray 2005 Mercury Mariner with Alabama tag 32BM568. That is it. So if you're in Virginia watching, keep your fucking eyes out for this little kid.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, hopefully she can find her way home, man. It's tough to see. I mean, we're talking about like we're talking, huh?
What'd you say, I just want to say I'm getting culture shocked over here. This is like all new to me. But should go.
Oh yeah, I forgot one. Jan?
Yes,
I forgot you're overseas, man.
Y'all don't have Amber Alerts? Y'all don't have Amber Alerts?
No.
Yeah,
we probably have something similar, but
they don't have like it's not called an Amber Alert, and they don't.
Yeah,
get
right,
it in,
right.
Like, mass
it's not called an
text
Amber Alert, and our phone
named.
doesn't fucking start, giving up nuclear sirens.
Yeah. Amber Alerts were named.
Jan said y'all are getting
Amber,
bombed.
so.
Right
Kinda. You know the fucking the purge thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When things
for
go
the
on,
next
it's the
24
same
hours,
song.
the purge.
Exactly.
I think it is.
All
It is
crime,
the same
including
sound.
murder.
It is the same sound. Yeah,
What
is.
is it?
Oh my
What was
God.
it? Like 2 years ago, Hawaii, somebody accidentally hit the
Oh,
missile alert
yeah.
system, and everybody in Hawaii got a text message saying they're about to be hit by missiles. So what
Oh
is
my
like
God.
Jim Carrey was out there with his family, like hugging them and telling them like, "Don't be sad. Like we need to talk this out. Like we're saying our final goodbyes and everything."
Oh.
And then he was talking about how mad he was afterwards because he was literally convincing his family to be happy about their deaths. And fucking, oh my God, I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, dude.
America, fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, dude, it is. It's like really, it's like it makes you feel like like you're about to be bombed or something. It is. It's like why can't it just like say just a gentle tone, man, just a gentle reminder. Hey,
Last of Us for real.
By the
To
way,
get your
it's not-
attention, that's for sure.
I get it. I kind of get it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it works. Like my phone was on silent too, so they're trying to make sure which is good. I mean, to alert you that
I think
much.
it's a good thing. Yeah, no, my hats off. Yeah, I think it's a
It
good
happens.
system.
It happens for like extreme weather too.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Thunderstorms, tornadoes,
Yeah.
and shit. You know.
That's right. Yeah,
Flooding.
Yeah. Speaking of which, do you guys get like, and as again off the subject, do you guys get a lot of like, so I'm in Virginia, and the weather changes like every 5 seconds. But do you guys get hit with a lot of storms where y'all are at, like during like the warmer months? Because here, man, it's like every stinking day, dude. It's like I got to drive an hour to and from work, and I get hit with a storm every time. Like every single time I'm riding through a storm, and it never happens like so. How I work, I usually work like the back half, so I'll work like I'll either work Tuesday through Friday or work Wednesday through Saturday most times. And it seems like it does not rain or storm at all, like the front half of the week. And then as soon as I got to go to work, it's like every day it'll be like sunny as hell outside. Like, oh man, well, hey, let's just pack up and let's go to the fucking beach. And then I'm on the way home from work, and I mean, it's just like the rain is bad.
Downpour.
It looks scary as hell. Honestly, I'm almost like, praying like, please let me like get home because this might be it. I got hit this one time. Story time, real quick. I was on my way home from work one day, and like it was, you could tell the sky was like dark as night. There were so many like clouds coming over, and I got like almost back home. I think it was like 10, 15 minutes out from the house, and like I was passing through this like old church, and it already looked like scary and apocalyptic as hell, So I'm driving by this old church, and I'm like just driving. I'm like, oh shit, let's get home. Trees are blowing. All of a sudden, a tree just falls out right in front of me. I have to slam on my brakes. Covers both lanes. Where I'm at. We live in the fucking sticks. Falls over both lanes, and I'm like, holy shit, what do I do? So I pull into the first. Some jackass on a motorcycle just passed me. Anyway, I pull into the first little convenience store I could get to, and I go to turn around. I get back on the road to go the way I came, and another freaking tree falls over right in front of me. And at this point, I think I'm gonna die. Like I'm like, this is it. This is it. So I pulled back in the convenience store, and I called the wife. Trees blowing really, really bad. People are pulling over. People getting out of their cars. You're seeing people like almost blowing away. And I get on the phone with the wife, and I'm not even gonna kid you guys, dude. Like I was starting to feel it. I'm like, man, this might be it, because I don't know where to go, because everybody was trying to get into the convenience store, and they weren't letting anybody in. Like they were actually keeping the doors locked. And wasn't letting anybody come in.
God.
So I'm sitting there like
Closed.
dude. It almost felt like The Mist.
You flip the sign.
You guys have seen The Mist, right?
Yeah, it's my favorite horror movie ever.
It kind of felt like The Mist. I felt like I was about to like some big ass tentacles will come out the woods and just take my ass,
Snatch
dude. It was,
your ass.
but
Stephen
I was,
King save me,
dude. I'm not gonna lie, man. I was so scared from that. I thought this was it. I really did, and but it's like every day on my way home, I get hit with the storm, and like today was like the first day since storm season has started where I had a peaceful ride home. So I listened to Taylor Swift. I hit it 65, and I got home.
Man, I could not live where you live. I'm so glad.
Yeah, me neither. That's why I moved away from him.
Fuel. Yeah.
You moved away because of me?
No, because of the terrible just being in the sticks. I say that, but I moved further towards the beach. I'm still in the sticks, and it still takes me an hour to get somewhere.
Yeah.
But same thing. Yeah, weather storm we had. We don't have it every day, but snowstorm we had? What was it, a year ago? Left the driveway, tree fell down right in front of the car. I'm like, all right, guess I'm not going to work. And turned around, got back in my driveway, waited for the power to cut off. I was like, I love this state. It's amazing.
Are you in Virginia too?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where
I got the Amber Alert, right?
Yeah. no. Well, I think the Amber Alert's like the countrywide, but yeah, but no,
it's only for the East Coast.
I didn't get it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
I was wondering
Maryland will get it. Maryland above us will get it. West Virginia might get it, and North Carolina will receive it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I didn't get it. I'm on the West Coast, so
yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you
said we don't kidnap kids over here, so
no, we're perfect over here.
Yeah, we kidnap them and don't get caught. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
I'm sorry. I should have fucking said.
Oh damn!
I should have said that.
We're getting dark.
Actually,
Yeah,
that's
that
the
is
East
true.
Coast. Yeah, no, we're the lead in human trafficking over here. Virginia's literally in that range. It's so terrifying. I'm like 30 minutes away from Fredericksburg.
Wait, are you for real?
Yeah, from all the way above Maryland, all the way down towards. It like slims down into North Carolina. It's like the most like human trafficking in the North America.
Holy shit!
And I believe it because in like the Walmart in Fredericksburg, every single time I've left Emily by herself to so I can go to the bathroom, I'll come back. Somebody will be following her, and it's not Walmart security. And the last time it was a random lady walked up to her and was like, "Oh my God, how are you doing?" Acted like they were friends from high school or something. And I was like I pretended to look at shirts like a feet away because I was like, I'm not going to mess with their conversation because I don't know who this is. And then Emily looked over at me, my wife, and she was just like, get over here. Because the lady was like, is this your baby? And blah, blah, blah. And then I walked up and she was like, well, you have a good day. And then walked away as I walked up. And I was like, who the fuck was that? Thinking she was going to be like, oh, that was Alyssa. I went to middle school with her or something, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, what'd she want? And she was asking me if I wanted to come out to the parking lot and get some baby clothes and this and this and this. And I was like, that bitch was about to club you over the head and fucking bag you in a car full of men. And then they're going to sell our kid.
That's a scary shit.
And you can just tell because I immediately got that fucking vibe when I walked up to her because she looked at me and was like, all right, well, you guys have a good day. Or, she was like, is this your husband? Or your boyfriend? You guys have a good day. Didn't even like confirm who I was or anything. She didn't want to even
mission
stick around.
abort.
Yeah, she was like, nah, there's someone else here. She's not alone. And it's just multiple people having encounters like that locally. And they're like, yeah, Fredericksburg's fucking terrible. People disappear all the time. There's missing people Oh yeah. Especially in Fredericksburg, about 45 minutes away. People go missing out there all the time. Facebook posts get shared constantly on my timeline. It's actually depressing. I don't even go on my personal Facebook anymore because it's people that I personally know who know these people in real life who are going missing. And it's just like,
what the hell?
What the fuck, man? And this fucking world's evil. I can't wait for the Last of Us apocalypse so we just know everyone's evil.
Right.
I want everyone to be on edge. I'm just kidding.
We go for equality here.
Yeah. No,
that was one thing I did not like. I thought they really did well with the one episode of The Last of Us where the dude pretty much is trying to pretend to be Ellie's friend and he's like a super religious fucking weirdo.
Oh, David.
She played that well she played that part really well when she acted like she was gonna like start being friendly with him and then like fucking fucked his hand up or some shit.
Yeah.
And
break his finger, I think.
What's going on?
My buddy made a fan, and it's got filters wrapped around it to collect a bunch of dog hair and stuff. But it looked like he just brought in this giant box full of something. So I was like, "What the fuck is that?" It's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say just to branch off of what you were saying, Emmett. We don't really hear about it really much where I'm at, but there are some like creepers here, and the bad thing about it is when you're trying to like secure somebody in an area or try to follow them back to where they're going, you can't make it look obvious, man. Like you got to do this a little bit. Have you guys not watched You on Netflix? Like you got to do it like that. You got to look the shit up. You got to look like everything about them. You know what I mean? What they've been doing, who they've talked to in the past 5 years.
You got to leave behind evidence.
Yeah, you got. Yeah. You got to leave behind evidence, or you cannot capture just anybody. No, but like they really do. Like they are. It's honestly, it's getting to the point where the world's evil as shit, and they're being blatantly obvious about it. Like it's not even really like they're trying to hide anymore. Like that was the time that there was a time where you were scared just to trust anybody. Now it's like you can't trust anybody, and that's why I try to tell the wife, like I'm already like very introverted anyway. One thing that I'm honest about, I've talked to Jan about it in I think the last show, was the fact of like before I come on to talk to anybody, whether we have guests on or it's me and Jan just on the cast or whatever, like I'm already like I have to get out of my shell because like I'm already introverted as it is, and so I feel better when we actually get going with the show, and I feel after the introduction we start passing some stuff around. So like, but I say all that to say I don't like going out anyway, but even more so, like there's just jackasses everywhere, man. I've been almost in several potential car wrecks for the past 2 weeks because people just cannot drive. 2 weeks, people just can't drive at all, man.
They're on Twitter complaining about the Last of Us 3rd episode about the gay people.
Right. Or the PC performance. Fucking dog shit PC.
It's all full circle.
It always comes back to the violence. It always comes back.
Hate begets hate.
It always comes back to the Last of Us, which we ought to do. So without going on another tangent, when we mentioned something, so it
all relates. The world, when the world's bad, the Last of Us world is bad. We're just talking. We're just comparing apples to
banana
apples.
Rotten apples.
All right. So to me, it seems like with all you guys, to go back to the Last of Us for at least a brief second, it seems like none of you guys are fazed by like the gore, like the blood, any of the violence.
Oh no.
I know they had talked about before, like the show started, they had talked about how they wanted to not show violence in this show
I saw that too.
to send a message about gun violence, which I don't, you know, I think me and Jan talked about this before, and Jan had some comments on it.
It very impacted me very much. I decided to never pick up a gun ever because after watching the Last of Us HBO, he really sent me a powerful message. Really impacted me positively.
So it didn't affect you guys at all. Like, there's no blood. There's hardly any violence, right? This is a dark world, right? Like, when I think about,
I don't know, man. The last episode kind of cleared that up for me, and the lack of violence, where he's just like, fuck it, American school shooter mode, and fucking just massacres everybody for the sake. You can't say it wasn't. I understand why he did. I don't disagree with Joel's decision whatsoever. And actually, that's what I want to do. Ask you guys: do you guys agree or disagree with his decision to do that?
Agree. Again, will be a father.
I only agree specifically because if you pay attention to the dialogue from the game and the show, they say Ellie's operation may help bring a cure. Doesn't say it will, says it may. I'm sorry, but you're not going to take my kid or a kid I adopted during the apocalypse, and she may help everyone during a fucking deadly operation.
How about this though? See, but how about if they say for sure that it will work?
Then it's her choice. It's her choice. As a teenager, as I believe growing up as a teenager during the apocalypse, living life or death, you watch her literally survive, get attacked by all these people. She has to grow up. It's her choice. At that point, even if it was my blood daughter, I'd say, this is your choice. Do you want to save humanity? Look around. Like, yeah, there's a bunch of sick people. Like, yeah, the virus or the fungus has already spread. It's done its thing. But there are still people who still can get sick from bites that they very much can be prevented from becoming fucking a monster. I will, like I said, that would be, like I said, if I was in Joel's position, I'd be like, look, I'd sit down with her like, this is your choice. If not, I'll get us the fuck out of here. And if they don't let us leave, here's a gun. You're going to back to back. We're about to light this fucking place up. And I don't know. Like I said, personally, I believe as a teenager growing up in the apocalypse, if your fucking blood or if a piece of your brain tissue or whatever the fuck it is going to figure it out and bring a cure to help people who do get bit, that's your choice. You decide whether or not you're going to be on that table.
But we as an audience knew that it wasn't going to help.
Yeah, exactly. But which is why I don't have a problem with him massacring everybody.
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
That we knew like that there is no cure, because you remember that scene that they added it for the show, like that scientist in like Indonesia, I want to say, or something. Like when they first find out about the fungus, and this soldier's talking to her, and he's like, well, what can we do to prevent this? And she's like, there's nothing we can do. Like, your best option is to just blow up this whole city, because she knew there was nothing that could be done to prevent it.
Well, no. Well, I mean, actually, I think that's what that meant, is that they cannot make a vaccine, because that's the way that funguses work, right? If we're a virus, then you can make like a vaccine, but funguses don't work like that.
Yeah, but it's a fungus, and there is no cure for a fungus.
Well, there is no vaccine, but you can cure it. The idea is that I think they even corrected this in the show. So in the game, they call it a vaccine, and many people call them out for it, which you cannot make a vaccine against a fungus. But in the show, they even changed the terminology. She doesn't say, "Oh, they'll make a vaccine." They say they'll make a cure. I don't think that that's what we're supposed to take out from that. There wouldn't have been a cure either way. I think that there might have been a good chance. Now, I'm not going to get into the technicalities of it. From what I understood, they could have taken her mutated fungus, which made her immune or whatever, and they could have, I don't know, gave it to other people to make so that they're also immune the same way. I don't think that their main takeout is that there was no cure. Everything was fucked up anyways. Joel is a hero. I think that, if anything, it kind of undermines Joel's decision, right? If it's so clear cut, then it's not as impactful, right? Everybody would back that away. I think that the fact that it could have saved humanity makes it even more significant, right? He chose her over the whole world.
Yeah, but they didn't know it was clear cut.
Yeah, yeah, of course, because they didn't know.
That's like that's never though. I feel
right, exactly.
Like, look, this is what I'm offering. We might find the answer.
Yeah,
and but give me your money and we'll figure it out.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, pretty much.
I think the thing is to and again, I think that because I mean, right, like besides Emmett, I don't think we don't have any kids, right? Emmett's only dad here. I think it would just and I honestly, that's a different take that I hadn't heard before, Emmett, that you would be more inclined to letting your kid, especially if they're old enough, to make that decision for themselves if they want to sacrifice themselves for a possible, even if there's a chance that there could be a greater good through all this whole thing. I think it would just be, again, no one said it's not going to be hard, right? Like I had a feeling that you might interject when I would say like trying to get to let that happen, be okay with letting the person that you've grown to love as a daughter, as your own flesh and blood, and to let them be used for these scientific reasons that are not even confirmed to even have any good of it, and to let them make that decision. And I think that I think it's just in a situation with Joel, with him losing everything and finding that reason to live, like that's something that I really like in the show, where like the last episode he tells Ellie the story about how he got the bullet scar on his head.
Yeah.
You guys remember that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And he was telling him about it, and he was saying that he was trying to kill himself like a night or so after the whole thing with Sarah happened. He ended up flinching and missed, and then she said something. I forget. She said something to him like it was something deep, like "I'm glad you didn't do it." And he said, "Yeah, I found something else to live for," something like that, something along those lines. And he was meaning her. And I think it's just like to make that decision, right? That's a decision out of love for someone that you care about. Now, I do understand what you're saying, that like if she's old enough and she feels like she wants to do that, then I guess that makes sense. But man, I don't know. It's hard to look at it. I'm kind of fumbling over my words. It's just hard to look at it from that. I'm glad you brought that up. That's not a bad point. And honestly, I've never really heard that before either. That okay, well, how about you let her choose? Because at the end of the day, that's what Ellie would want.
You can't do that. A lot of people, you got to realize, even with the two toddlers that I do have, I did raise my teenage sister as well. I got full custody of her and everything. I literally had to mold her into an adult. You can't tell a fucking teenager to do anything. What? Right. Yeah, your parents can yell at you all day, every day, and tell you, "Hey, get in the house before 8 p.m." Blah blah blah. But what does that do? What does that do? It makes your kids sneak. Makes your kid. You start locking kids down. They start rebelling. You tell a kid that, "Hey, no, we're not doing this. You're not going to cure a fucking apocalyptic disease." Blah 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 blah. Yada yada yada. And let's say if she does feel like it, they leave. She's going to sneak out and try to go help, because you could see it from Ellie's perspective too. She thought she was going to do an operation to help people, not die. She knew her blood or whatever it was to help people, and she was willing to do that. She wasn't fighting to go there at all, and not at any point where she was like, "No, don't take me, don't take me, don't take me." She wanted to actually help people, and that's why she was fine with someone taking her there to the Fireflies to meet
Marlene.
And like I said, she had no objections over it. She knew she was going to help people. She could have dipped at any point. She could have fucking Joel. Like I said, she didn't grab that attachment from Joel. The moment he falls off that fucking horse and he's bedridden, she could have dipped out at any moment. But she didn't. You know why? Because it was her fucking that was her choice. If anybody took that choice from her, it would have been a whole different story. It would have been a whole lot complicated between a parental point of view. Yeah. And as a parent of a teenager, you got to realize you got to let your kids make certain choices.
Because how old was she supposed to be? Like 14?
14.
Yeah, 14.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember, but in part 2, when spoilers, I guess, if somebody hasn't played it, when she finds out what Joel did, she kind of resents him. She goes, "I was supposed to fucking die in that hospital."
Yeah,
for 2 years. She even says, "I was supposed to fucking die at that hospital. You took that from me. My life would have fucking mattered."
Hey, Lyra, how you doing?
But Lyra says hello.
Hey, Lyra. Yeah, I came into real quick. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I went to. She was doing a stream, and she was streaming The Witcher 3, and I was like, good game. Finally, you had to get away from Hogwarts Legacy for a little while and go into another huge, infinite open world. It's gonna take you freaking forever to beat. So I hope you're having fun with that, Lyra. So is The Last of Us that good? Yes, it's that good. Play it now. Yeah. What are you doing?
I think just talking about the show.
Stop watching. Just play that game.
Oh, the show? Yeah, don't watch that. It sucks.
Do watch it.
Where are you guys seeing this comment? I see nothing.
Okay, so you see what it says private chat. It also says comments.
Ah.
So, you click on comments. Yeah. There it is.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I see
She-
nothing here.
She was
Okay.
she was on a guest on the show 2 weeks ago. We talked everything Hogwarts Legacy, and man, I mean, she laps me and Jan with her Harry Potter knowledge,
Oh, damn.
and we've said we want to have her
She
back on.
humbled
and
us big time.
Yeah, bad. So I told her we got to have her on so she can just whatever. I'll let her, what's the kids say nowadays? Just let her cook, right? Just let you
exactly,
just let you talk about it and just let me learn, because it's a lot of lore, man. And she said, "Not true. Come on, haha, you knew your stuff." I not as much as you, but I appreciate you. And I didn't have too many nice things to say about Hogwarts Legacy, but at the end of the day,
none of us did actually.
I know. No, honestly,
I
it's
still haven't played it. I booted it up for like 5 minutes. I made my character, and I was running along the cliff edge, and
That's the most fun part.
All right.
That's it. That's it. You got the most out of it.
Yeah. No, it's a good look. All in all, it's a decent.
Are they adding Quidditch? Is
No.
that supposed to be a thing?
No.
They said that they're not.
Oh,
Like at the beginning of the game, like the
I would play it solely for Quidditch.
Yeah.
Just to like do some trick shot of me smacking some dude off a broom with my broom or something, and then I catch the fucking. Oh yeah, that would be sick. That's how you kill a game right there. Take away the combative sport of the series, and you could have added as they added the fucking dark arts stuff as DLC.
The Quidditch and then they don't coming in a new game entirely, I think.
They're working on a sequel. Might get into that.
Yeah, they'll put it. Yeah, they'll definitely put it in the sequel. I mean, they have to, right? Because they had that really like bullshit reason at the very beginning of the game saying that it's canceled because someone got injured or something like that.
Yeah, right.
And it's
someone got injured. Someone got injured playing fucking Quidditch. Yeah, like which game of Quidditch doesn't have someone getting injured, right?
Yeah, that's a pretty dangerous game.
Right. Someone is like a pyromaniac and sets someone's robe on fire.
But Jan, if you want some more U.S. culture shock, there are universities over here that have Quidditch teams.
What?
How does that work?
I'm 100% serious.
I think
do they have flying brooms?
I think they put a broom between their legs and then they just run around.
No, I gotta see it.
I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding. There are Quidditch teams.
Wow.
Like they're club. They're not like, funded by the school. But...
Right. Yeah. I would hope not. No, actually, you know what?
Page on this.
When I was touring,
the University Texas is in the lead.
when I was touring a university, I actually saw a Quidditch game going on. I was like, they are playing Quidditch right now. I don't know if that's awesome or sad.
Wow.
Yeah, they literally, The United States National Quidditch Team is the official Quidditch team of the United States. The team is regulated by the U.S. Quidditch and a national member of the International Quidditch Association. Oh my God! So there's countries that have teams.
Oh really?
This isn't just a U.S. thing.
I wasn't sure about anywhere else, but I know that there were college teams.
The general manager that oversees it all is Amanda Dallas.
Wow, Amanda Dallas.
How many Quidditch teams are there? There are 210 active U.S. Quidditch teams.
How is this happening?
5 are considered official. I almost went 10. 5 of them are considered official. Daniel Radcliffe is not on a single one of them.
That bastard. He retired before it started, huh?
No, better not. He wants to distance himself from the franchise as much as he can.
Yeah.
Tom Felton on any of them?
Not anybody. Just Snape.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Look, what do you guys think about the reboot of Harry Potter? Are you happy for it? You excited?
I cannot believe it's happening.
It's unnecessary.
I don't fucking need any more Harry Potter. That's not I still have it. I watched the fucking Beasts one.
Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah. Keep going in that direction. I don't care. Go earlier, go later. I don't care. I don't need any. I like Harry Potter as a fucking thing, but to reboot it as like to be like, oh yeah, we're gonna redo all this. No, I don't. I grew up with it already. Everyone did. You made it into a thing, and now you're literally killing it by saying, "Hey, by the way, that
Yeah,
I mean,
when have we
even
seen this turn out well for any series?
I mean,
even Lyra, she's a big even Lyra's a big fan of the Harry Potter franchise and the Wizarding world, and even she's like, no, they could have literally done anything else.
Exactly, the founder story. Thank you. I would be perfectly fine with that. The creation of Hogwarts, something like that.
Yeah.
I would not have any issues with that whatsoever. I wouldn't have a problem with one set in the future when they're like, oh, we're like, you're learning about Harry Potter in the class, the actual Harry Potter in one of the classes or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that, like, and the things that he went through, other classes, stuff like that, past students. I'm fine with that shit, but you don't, unless they're going to do that in the new series. Unless that's like a thing I don't know about.
Yeah, I don't know the lore very well, but one thing I would love to know is how the spells were created. That's something that I've always been interested in. Like,
you're gonna have to do TikTok dances to do the new ones.
But I mean, but in terms of the reboot, I mean, it's the whole HBO Max or soon to be Max thing. I mean, they're just making mistake after mistake. So,
oh yeah, they're shooting themselves in the foot repeatedly.
Yeah, I don't know why.
It's kind of entertaining.
I like it when they realize they've created something bad. Like when Ryan Reynolds was like, "The Green Lantern was fucking terrible." Like, I wish I never wrote it. But like people for the like, I'm gonna die on this hill, and it's like, well, you're killing everything else for that hill as well.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like they said apparently that it's supposed to go over like the next like 10 years. So it's gonna be like 10 years of this show. And
do we know the timeline though? Is it
just
does it say whether or not it's remaking or
Yeah, it's a new interpretation of the books, from what I understand. From what I gather.
See, and that's
what
the problem.
That's what I thought. That's what I have a problem with. Yeah,
because when you think Harry Potter and you look at who's played Harry Potter, you think Daniel Radcliffe. I feel like that is a role that you can't recast. That's like recasting Indiana Jones. Like you can't do that. Like it's because it's so entrenched, I think, in just culture that you can't simply recast a huge character like Harry Potter, Ron, Hermione, all of them, because all of us who grew up with it and saw the movies know what they look like, and that is forever like embedded in our minds. So it's
you've got the fans who have lifted up the entire series the entire time, supported it all the way through, and then you're just like, erase.
Mm-hmm.
You're like,
pretty much
what? So everything I've come to like over the past few years, you're just going to take away, and you're going to do something else with it?
What makes it confusing? All right, well, think about it like this, right? Lyra said, I made a reel on IG just to rage about the idea of a new cast. Yeah, no, like, so that brings me to what I was going to say. Like, she's really into. Yeah,
I want to move his mouth boy, but with a mustache.
Chris Pratt would be a phenomenal Harry Potter. No, Voldemort. Right? That'd be better.
Voldemort with a mustache, even better.
No, we need Jack Black as Voldemort.
They're using the thing is they're going to use they're going to use the same font. They're using the same music and everything that was in the movie. So they're keeping all that shit the same.
I don't mind if they keep majority. It depends on what they change for me.
So what about like Universal, right? Universal Studios, right? They have the pictures of Daniel Radcliffe and the other, I can't remember them right now. Emma Stone, I believe, and
Emma Watson.
Emma Watson. That's it. They have these actors all over Universal. They have them like everywhere. Yeah, definitely not Emma Stone. Not her. But like they have their faces everywhere. So what do you do then? Are you going to remove them from these like attractions and all that? Or you just?
I'm only cool with them doing that, like removing a character if we find out the person's a piece of shit in real life. Right. Like that's the only time where I'm like, okay, yeah, give us another face. But
if something like that happens, they don't get rid of the character; they just recast it because that's what happened. That's what happened with Grindelwald, because Grindelwald was Johnny Depp, and now it's Mads Mikkelsen because of all the phony accusations against Johnny Depp. But that's a whole other story.
They're not phony; they were true. Amber Heard was right about everything.
Yeah, when she was shitting on his bed.
Oh my god! Is that where the Amber Alert name came from? From Amber Heard?
No, from Amber Heard. Yeah, it's like, hey, there may or may not be shit in your bed. Get home immediately.
And your phones are fucking buzzing up.
What's so funny is when he tells that story about how Johnny Depp speaking here, but when he'd tell the story about how he found the shit in his bed, and like it's so funny how he tells it. Is that he said he just came in from doing whatever. He went. The Amber Heard was already bitching at him like as soon as he came through the door. He's like, yeah, whatever. He goes to the bedroom, puts some stuff down. He turns towards his bed, and he goes to open the blankets, and it's just this giant turd in the middle of the bed. And he just looks at it, and then he starts laughing because he doesn't know what else to do. So he just starts going and starts laughing at there's actually shit in his bed.
That whole trial.
You gotta laugh or cry, right?
Because there was like a lawyer or something that was questioning Johnny Depp or something. Like, you poured yourself a mega pint of wine, right? And he's like, a mega pint? and he's like, you can tell he's just visibly confused.
Yeah.
He even made a reference to Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't know if that was real or not, but did you see that?
Yeah. It's like
Amber Heard. She said something about a jar
of cocaine. Yeah, a jar of
and
cocaine.
he was like, a jar of what? A jar of dirt?
A jar. Yeah, you see him lean down to his lawyer and goes, a jar of dirt? At least that's what it looked like anyway. Yeah. I'm not saying that's what he said, but yeah, that whole thing was pretty wild, man. I remember, like, I never seen the internet come together so much until that whole Johnny Depp
heard
case.
Everything, I swear.
Oh, it's all good. Is everything cool?
Yeah, I just had to use the bathroom.
Oh, damn, that was quick.
Bathroom's right there. Wash my hands and everything, I swear to God.
I never seen the internet come closer together until the whole Amber Heard thing. Like, everybody was just ganging up on this woman so bad, and it was nice to see. It was nice to see everybody come together.
It was nice to see.
I like it when we all come together to hate somebody.
Yeah, I mean, that's what humanity is all about. You know?
Yes, we just pick and choose. It's great.
Yeah, pick and choose.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think, right? Like, some of the biggest things we like gaming and we like movies, right? And those are some of the most like controversial ass topics in today, right? Like, I mean, if you simply just like again, like bring back The Last of Us, you make one negative thought about the show, and it's like you're homophobic, you're a piece of shit, you don't know good writing, and to all you people that sit here and say this show is one of the greatest shows of all time. You're trash. There's no way. Do you not watch TV?
In your opinion, what's the greatest show of all time?
Dude,
Breaking Bad.
Yeah, it's definitely
Breaking Bad is good. I won't give it greatest
Better Call Saul is a close second.
I'll put them in top 20, maybe.
Well, what's your first?
My first? That's hard to say. That's something I got to sit and like actually think about. TV show. I'll give one of my top 10s right now is Snowfall on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely one of the most. It's a drama about a young black kid in 1980s when during the first the distribution and the making of crack cocaine in Los Angeles, and how the CIA plants it, and how they implement these systems on funding all these other overseas government operations that aren't on any official books. How they have people selling crack to give to drug lords, who drug lords are owned by the CIA to fund all kinds of operations. It's educational, it's entertaining, it's dramatic, it's suspenseful all at the same time. And I don't ever really come across many shows like that. I will put Snowfall in my top 10. I won't say it's number one.
Yeah.
I'll put it's another good show.
Lyra said Game of Thrones, by the way. Game of Thrones is
I refuse.
Game of Thrones is a weird one, man. Game of Thrones is a weird one because I see the potential.
I know it's amazing.
Yeah.
But to see, I've watched maybe half of an episode of Game of Thrones, but because I was watching and doing and playing so many other things at that time, I wasn't interested in TV at all. I watched the entire fan base talk about this show, how amazing it was, until the last season, and then everyone hated it. I will not do that to myself. I will not like something that long and knowing it's going to be that bad for me at the end. I refuse. I will acknowledge that I know it's great until the end because of what everyone has said.
Yeah, I mean, right. I'm personally with Lyra. I'm not gonna say it's the greatest show ever, but I would say my personal favorite show of all time is Game of Thrones. And I don't hate the ending as much as other people. I mean, it was definitely lackluster. The biggest have you guys watched it? I know you just said you haven't. But...
Yeah,
two seasons. I've only seen 2 seasons.
Okay, but the problem, in case you guys are ever interested, I won't get into spoilers. The problem with the last season of Game of Thrones is that the decisions they made sense, but they weren't developed because season 8 was only 6 episodes. So all of these plot points and in character development happened that they established were like wrapped up in 6 episodes, and it needed to be at least another 2 to 3 seasons.
Yeah.
That was the problem, because if they fully fleshed out the plot points that they established in season 8, then it would have been an all-time show for sure. But D&D, the creators of the show, got a Star Wars contract at that time, and they basically said
threw it down the drain, didn't they?
Yeah,
basically?
they basically said
it.
we're done with Game of Thrones. We want to move on to Star Wars. So they finished it as quick as possible so they can move on to Star Wars. But it bit them in the ass because they lost that contract. So, so yeah, and I don't think they've done anything since. I haven't heard from them at all.
So who's involved with House of the Dragon? Is it the same? I mean, obviously it's not the same people.
George R.R. Martin is heavily involved in it.
Yeah, good.
The showrunner, I can't remember his last name, but his first name is Miguel, and he directed, I think, like some of the best episodes of Game of Thrones. Like there's an episode in season 6, I want to say, called Battle of the Bastards, which is one of the best episodes of television ever, and I think he directed that episode. But he's one of the showrunners, I think. House of the Dragon was a really good show. It reminded me of the earlier seasons of Game of Thrones.
And Lyra says can't confirm everything you're saying.
So, okay.
Apparently Breaking Bad
we got
is
a
actually
show.
the second most favorited TV series.
What's
Breaking
number
Bad.
one? The Sopranos?
Planet Earth 2 apparently is number
Okay.
one
What the hell?
on
Yeah,
IMDb.
I've seen people say like Breaking Bad, The Sopranos, The Wire. I've heard people say
The Wire's on there.
Of all time.
Sopranos is also on there. Game of Thrones is number 13. Rick and Morty's 15.
Rick and
Oh
Morty.
my god.
16 is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which should be up there because that is an amazing
That's
TV
very
show.
good, yeah. What about Seinfeld?
Seinfeld has to be on there.
Seinfeld is Better Call Saul's number 33. Death Note's 32. Seinfeld is number 39.
Oh, damn.
Seinfeld is right after The True Detective and right before Decalogue, whatever the fuck that is.
The first season of True Detective?
Oh,
That's probably counting the whole show. But
whole show
everybody
view-wise
said the
and
first
ratings
season
through
was great.
IMDb. That's the most voted on website for media-wise.
The first season is pretty great. Yeah,
I know The Sopranos
first
is
season
amazing.
of True Detective with Matthew McConaughey and
Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, season 2.
Yeah, Woody
I
Harrelson
remember
and Matthew
enjoying.
McConaughey.
I never finished it, but season 2 had the Colin Farrell and I think Rachel McAdams. But season 2 had some moments too.
The Mandalorian is 91.
Really?
Boo.
Moving up.
Yeah, just kidding.
I gotta catch up on the Mandalorian.
Did I just hear
Yeah.
a fucking boo?
Yeah, I said the fucking boo.
Don't you like Baby Yoda?
Come over there and beat your ass with a dark saber.
Do it. Try it.
Man, we're gonna see like a duel live here.
Deadwood.
No, it's
So,
fun. I've seen it. It's not bad. I haven't watched. I'm not up to date either, Brandon, on The Mandalorian.
But
Gotta watch it.
Dylan, you and Jan said Breaking Bad, greatest show ever.
No. I was speaking for Brad. What's your name again? For Deeper the Hero.
Yeah, Deeper. Yeah, my bad. I forgot to put the name plates up on the screen
Yeah, you
today.
did.
I'm sorry. My bad. I didn't notice it till we were like an hour in. I was like, holy shit, we don't know our names.
Yeah, I did not answer the question, and I wouldn't know what to answer.
Yeah, no, I think so. Here's my thing. I know it's kind of generic. It seems like nowadays it's like very generic to say Breaking Bad is the best show. Well, one of the best shows, and obviously this is objective. It's not like it's not. I think on most people's scale they would say Breaking Bad, but I think for me Breaking Bad is my favorite because I never. For a while, I was having a hard time. Like Sons of Anarchy's up there too, even though it's a very depressing experience. I still enjoyed it. It's still a decent story to tell. But what I was gonna say was like with Breaking Bad, I since that first episode, when you see Walter White in his freaking tidy whities, with a handgun in the middle of the street, ready to glad. Well, he first makes the video like, my name is Walter J. White. I live on Nagoro Lane, and I have a wife, and I have a son, and I got a daughter on the way. And he gives him this whole thing. And from then, I was like hooked. And there wasn't many shows that did that. The only time I ever felt like super hooked was in like the of course, like towards the beginning of like The Walking Dead, like when Rick kills that Walker zombie girl at the very beginning.
Oh,
And I was,
girl, yeah.
I was hooked. Like, and so there wasn't too many shows.
Killing kids, I loved it.
Dude, I
No,
love killing
fun
kids.
stuff.
It's great. It's America's pastime.
Breaking Bad.
Innovating,
Breaking
breaking new ground.
Bad is no stranger to killing kids.
No.
Lyra, Emmett is a streamer. I'm gonna let Emmett do the talking there, and she can. And if you want to add him, you can. Brandon, he has
Stranger Things is a very good.
Yeah, I'm not a streamer. I've just got my YouTube.
Stranger Things is good.
Mm-hmm.
Stranger Things is a fantastic show.
But
Actually,
yeah,
got a new Stranger Things hat the other day while I was in Ohio.
hell yeah, the
Oh, that's cool.
awesome.
I've got 2 Hellfire Club shirts.
Nice. I actually
Alright.
saw it in
Alright,
like a
okay.
grocery store, and I didn't even know it
Boys.
had anything to do with Stranger Things because I haven't watched any
Yeah,
of the
I actually
previous
just-
seasons.
Yeah, I have a keychain too that was like custom made. It's like from wood, and I found it in a store in Tombstone. If you guys have you ever seen the movie Tombstone?
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I live in Arizona, and Tombstone is like maybe 3 hours south, and I went there in November. It's a really cool place. Check it out if you guys ever get a chance.
Oh yeah.
But they had a Hellfire Club keychain in one of the stores, and I was like,
Oh, that's awesome.
I was like, that's so cool, and I had to buy it.
Yeah, no, that's cool. No, Stranger Things is pretty good. How about have you guys seen Ozark?
Oh, I finished it. Yeah,
I've only
amazing
watched.
show.
I've
That's a
only
top
watched
10 for me.
Season 1 of Ozark. I gotta finish it. I've only
Yeah,
seen season
that's
1.
definitely a top 10 show for me. Matthew
How about
Bateman.
Peaky Blinders?
I know that's a
Never-
great show
Peaky
too.
Blinders is
seen
good.
I've
Peaky
watched a few episodes, and I can definitely tell that's going to be in one of my top 20s.
Dude, great show. 6 episodes a season though. It really sucks.
Is it
Yeah,
6
Oh, yeah.
episodes?
Yeah,
Shit,
6
I'll be able to wrap
episodes,
it
man.
up.
for Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, Peaky
Oh,
Blinders.
really?
Yep.
But for me personally, I think the best show on television right now is Barry. Do you guys watch Barry?
I haven't seen Barry.
What is
No, that's
it?
Bill Hader, right?
No,
Bill
yeah,
Hader.
it's about to start its last season. Today's Saturday. Tomorrow, the first episode of the last season premieres tomorrow. It's a fantastic show.
Berry.
Barry.
BA.
Yeah, if you guys aren't familiar, like it's about a hitman. Bill Hader plays a hitman, and he.
Oh,
sent to
I
LA,
know what this is. Yes, I've
Yeah,
seen
and he
clips
be-
of him
he
like literally
becomes a-
in the street, just fucking.
and he becomes an actor. It's such a great show. It's so
Dude, he literally
freaking
gets in
good.
a car and just shoots some people in a
Yeah.
car, and I'm like, I've never seen this man in a role where he just fucking
Oh,
does
it-
some serious
yeah,
shit.
No.
It's funny because the show, it's like a comedy. It is really funny, but
Oh, even better.
each season up until season 3 got progressively darker. Like there's
Good.
moments of comedy, but season 3 was so dark. I can't really say more than that without getting. And like the humor is really dark too. If you guys watch it in season 3, there's a whole scene that takes place at a car dealership that's like very morbid, but it's so unbelievably funny.
Mhm.
Like it's very
Sounds
it's
like
hard to,
quality television.
yeah, I don't know how they do it. They manage the dark humor and like with being dark itself, and they make it work so well. They find that perfect balance.
Yeah,
Good.
Bill
Nice.
Bill Hader is pretty great. Have you guys seen Year One?
Yeah.
No.
Year One is a very stupid movie, but it's funny.
It is very stupid, and obviously that's another very like somewhat controversial in today's standards. But you guys know Bill Hader's in that movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is he? I haven't seen it in so long.
He plays like a cameo role where he's got all like this war paint on, and he's got like the lip rings, and he's got like freaking a straw all over his head, and he's like a guard of this village that Jack Black and I don't remember what's the other guy's name.
Michael Cera.
Yeah, the village that they live in. Bill Hader is like the guard, and he's got like this bull ring in his nose and got war paint on and stuff. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that movie in so long.
There's a scene where like Jack Black does something, and he ends up burning down the whole damn village. And there's a scene where like you see Bill Hader and he's in all the makeup and he's like screaming to the top of his lungs. He's like, no, like that. And because there was a hut on fire, like it was like burning and blazes. And he's like, no, when it's not my house. And then gets over. Like,
the scene I remember most in year one is like they're being held prisoner or something. And for whatever reason, Michael Cera is chained upside down to the wall. And he has to go pee, and he pees, and the pee starts flowing down his face.
God,
that's the one thing I remember from that movie because I was laughing out loud.
Yeah, there's another scene where like they go into they meet Abraham, you know, the biblical Abraham, and and it's his son, and he's like he said he's talking to Jack Black and Michael Cera, and he's like, all right, now you guys stay right here. I'm gonna go get a knife. And I'm gonna cut your penises. I'll be right back. And he leaves.
I don't remember that.
He's like, "What?" And they're like, "Yeah, no, we're not gonna cut the whole thing off, just the tip." And he goes and walks away. And Jack Black and Michael Cera are like running like hell away from the village. And Michael Cera is like, "Yeah, I know. I'm glad we got away from there. They would have cut off my tip." And then Jack Black was like, "All you have is the tip." And then they kept running.
I think I vaguely remember that scene. They're running away, and you could just hear someone screaming in the background.
Yeah, that movie's wild, man. It's stupid as hell, but it is wild though. But yeah, that Bill Hader, he cracks me up in that when he's just like screaming and he's like, "Oh wait, that's not my house. I'm not worried about it."
Bill Hader is still one of the funniest characters on SNL. Have you guys seen Stefan?
Oh yeah,
yeah. Stefan, I think, is one of the funniest things ever.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Yeah, he's one of those too on SNL. Like you have some of those on SNL that like can't control their laughter.
Yeah,
like he's one of those. He can never stay. Like,
which is so funny because he's so talented. You would think that he would be able to stay in character, but he just can't. He just laughs out loud, especially during the Californians.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah.
The Californians.
He's very like he laughs at all. I was watching some of those old like Chris Farley bits with him and Adam Sandler on SNL. Dude, there was some of the best skits because Chris Farley would get so into it. Like every bit he was doing, like he gave it his all. If he didn't give it his all, man, he wouldn't even like you wouldn't even see him in a bit because he just cannot. He's got to give 100%. And I was watching. There was two of them I was watching. There's one like where Chris Farley's dressed up as like this big old lady, and Adam Sandler's dressed up like an old man, and like Chris Farley is reading from like this restaurant guide about places to eat. And Adam Sandler's like, "Go die, woman." And she keeps bringing up things from the menu. And he's like, "Leave me alone." And it just goes back and forth. And you would think something like that would be like very like, all right, that's enough. But it just kept getting like funnier and funnier. Like they bounced off each other real well. You know, again, we get off of topic. And that's what I love about the Deadhead podcast. We can never stay exactly on topic here, but I appreciate your guys' insight on Last of Us, especially with Emmett's explanation with Ellie making the decision, all that, and then and just to say closing thoughts on the Last of Us conversation because I know we kind of went off of it. Now we're wrapping back up. I do have a newfound appreciation for it, and any reason, and I say this every time we talk about it, any reason that I can talk about something that I love, it gets an A from me, man. So if nothing else, I'll give The Last of Us 2 thumbs up because I can talk about something that I enjoyed. Because I mean, like I said, me and Jan can sit here and gush about that game. We dedicated a whole episode to that, and we didn't stop talking about it until like the very end. We didn't change the subject.
We can make a whole podcast about that.
Yeah, entire episode.
Whole
podcast. Yeah.
No, yeah, we can go up here like 2 times a week. You know. Just talking about that, talking about The Last of Us, right?
And there were actually just not like huge points, but there were 2 things I wanted to mention about it. One, I love the first episode. I need to say because I was caught so off guard by it. The first episode ends, as you guys know, with them running into the city, and the song that's playing is "Never Let Me Down Again" by Depeche Mode. And Depeche Mode, for me personally, like has played a very important role in my life. That's my dad's favorite band. That's the first concert I ever went to, and my mom's a big fan of them too.
Yeah.
And so, like hearing that song, like in a huge show, like in like The Last of Us, I was like, "Oh, that's amazing" to me personally. Yeah. And then streams for that song went through the roof.
Yeah.
After it premiered. It was kind of like last summer when Stranger Things played Running Up That Hill, like the streams for it just skyrocketed. And and just real quick, I heard that song the other day for the first time in like months, and it immediately transported me back to last summer. It's like one of those songs that takes you back to even though that song is from the 80s, it just takes you back to like last summer. For me, it did at least. And the other thing, I love that they included in the show the voice actors, because Troy Baker was in the show, Ashley Johnson was in the show, and I don't know his name, but the guy who was the voice of Tommy was also in the show.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was the guy who got ripped in half by the bloater.
The chick who played Ellie was in the show at the beginning, wasn't she?
Yeah, Ashley Johnson.
Ashley
oh,
Johnson.
okay. Yeah, never mind.
She was Ellie's mom.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that at first, but when she's running and like you hear her like scream and grunt, I'm like, I know that voice.
That's what I was
yeah. I mean, like when she talks, you're not sure, but when she starts grunting, that's when you know. Like immediately.
When she opened the door to that cabin in the finale episode, she runs in there and it's like empty, and she goes, "Hello, anyone there?" And you just hear this straight up Ellie, like the way she delivered that line, it sounded just like Ellie. So it's. Yeah, I agree. That's
hello, fireflies. If you're from mankind over here.
Yeah, dude. It was. I did like that. I wish we could have seen more of them, but honestly, at the same time too, it's like you don't want to have them in there too much because you don't want to take away from Pedro. And at the end of the day, I watched a movie with Pedro Pascal and Nicolas Cage in it. I know you guys have seen the meme. Of like Nicolas Cage, yeah, he's in the car. Nicolas Cage is in a car. He turns to his left, and you see Pedro smiling really wide. I know you guys have seen the meme.
Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Yeah, I watched that.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot, and so like, and them two together, great chemistry. And Pedro Pascal is just a lovable dude. But I don't know, dude. He just doesn't fit my. I'm so used to seeing that Joel from the game. But at the end of the day, I think for this version, for him being an older version, because he's like 56 years old in this season. I think he's like 51 or 52 in the game. So that's not like that much of a difference. But he is damn near 60 in the show. So like for some of his parts where he's getting overpowered, not being as a brute as he is in the game. Because like that's the thing. Like some people are saying like, man, in the game, you could take on like 12 or 13 guys. I knew that wasn't going to happen. That's not realistic. I wouldn't want to see anybody I like Rick Grimes is one of my favorite characters in any show or movie, period. I love Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead, but I don't want to see Rick killing 50 dudes by himself. Like if I want to see that, I'll just watch John Wick.
Yeah, I just watched John Wick. I was just about to say, like, it doesn't matter how old you are because Keanu Reeves is nearly 60 and he's doing John Wick still.
Smacking dudes in the face with nunchucks. He's just over there freaking whipping that shit.
Have you guys seen John Wick 4 yet?
Yeah,
I've seen it.
It's so great.
I've seen it. No, I will say this, and then we'll tie it up. Just to battle Brandon on this a little bit. I didn't like it as much as the others. I still think the first one's my favorite. I still think have you guys seen the first one?
Yeah,
I've seen them all.
Okay, so the first John Wick.
I once saw him kill a man with a pencil.
A fucking pencil. Yeah, dude, it's awesome shit. And I thought like how realistic the first one was. Honestly, if it would have stopped right there, that would have been perfect. But then they did 2, and 2 was still good, but you could tell it was starting to get kind of wild. 3 was absolute balls of the wall. Still liked it, but balls of the wall. By the time you get to John Wick Chapter 4, this dude can survive anything. And I think it kind of takes it away a bit, because here's the thing, like what I liked about the first one is that they called him the Baba Yaga, right? Like the boogeyman, or like the guy you hire to kill the boogeyman. People were terrified of this dude. But John Wick 4, like nobody's scared of this guy anymore. It's like, oh look, there's John. Oh shit, and then that's it. Like they're not really like in the first movie. They were like, oh my god, they were almost like screaming like this dude's like he is like a death.
Well, I mean, I think that's the point because to me personally, that was what I was looking for because I've watched 3 movies of people testing him.
Yeah.
Going, oh, yo, you think you're hot shit. And then everyone's like, no, I'm here for the money. And then they all get capped. And then the 4th one, I know he's lost everything. So I know he's going to fight for everything. So if I'm another fucking hitman and I'm getting a text message saying, oh, go kill John Wick, and I see him in a mini mall or a club or something where I know he can just kill 10 people while it's going down, fuck no. I'm looking the other way. I'm going to pretend I don't see that guy.
Lyra, go see it. Go see John Wick. You'll like it.
No, but
Don't wait
watch
for
it in
straight-
theaters. You
Yeah.
believe
For
me, it's worth it.
theaters.
I saw it in
Definitely.
IMAX and the sound was unbelievable.
Bring a gun.
Oh, God.
No,
Yeah,
no,
definitely
no.
do that. Do that.
Like, I'm supporting John Wick. What the fuck?
No, but that
Cosplay.
like I won't spoil for the guys who haven't seen it, but Dylan, I think you can probably agree that toward the end there's an overhead tracking sequence,
Mhm.
and it's legitimately one of the greatest and most creative sequences that I've ever seen in any movie
Yeah.
ever.
It
It's
felt the most
amazing.
dude. So the scene he's talking about, yeah, without giving it away, it's ripped straight out. I mean, John, look, at the end of the day, we need a John Wick game. We need not a 30 FPS bullshit.
They made
need
All
Parabellum.
Max Payne.
Yeah, Max Payne is phenomenal. Max Payne 3 is phenomenal, but I think a John Wick game would be sick because the story
would.
of John Wick, like with the Continental and all that stuff, like this like underground well, you call it underground, but apparently everybody's a freaking assassin in these movies. But yeah, like the scene that Brandon is talking about, yeah, it's a straight up like ripped straight out of a video game, and it's nice, dude. It's visually stunning.
Wouldn't it be just Hitman, the game?
No, because Hitman, like the way you move is so like stiff.
No,
You need to be able to do.
I'm talking about like I realize that, but I'm talking about like the whole. I know like Agent 47.
47.
I've never played the games. I've just seen gameplay.
They're a lot of fun.
Yeah,
And I just know between that, Max Payne. There's another game that you could. I know Red Dead has the Deadeye mode where you can just shoot wherever the fuck you want, but there's another game that has that specific mode where you can slow down your aim.
right.
Is it Sniper Elite?
That game too. That one's a really good one. That's a great example. Fuck.
Well, see, I'm playing a game
Control
right.
time or something. Limitless. No.
No, it's a Quantum
No.
Break.
Quantum Break. Thank you.
Okay.
Very fucking
Yeah,
fun.
that's a good. No, that's a good
I'm
game.
not saying
but-
he's a hitman or anything.
Limitless
but
is the movie with Bradley Cooper.
yeah, that's what that is.
It's a TV
No,
show as well for a little while. It was really good.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, that speaking of good shows, that is a good show. But no, like I think more of like, yes, there's a lot of third person shooters out there, like cover shooters, but I'm talking like a tactical approach with the way you handle weapons, just the way like someone who is trained, not that there's characters in games who are not
Tom
trained with
Clancy's
firearms, but
Splinter
like
Cell.
yeah, Splinter Cell would be great.
Splinter
Like
Cell
or
was
like
awesome.
yeah, people
Well,
don't like
Blacklist was really good. They're working
Ghost
on a new one.
Recon. Yeah, Ghost Recon Breakpoint
Recon's
is
a
a
good
break,
one. Yeah,
yeah.
The
Breakpoint has really good like mechanics, like as far as like
I like the mechanics. Don't like the game as a whole. I like
Yeah.
playing it by myself or whatever, but it's nothing I could ever be like, hey, let's hop on and do this.
And the,
Yeah.
After a while, I feel like I get bored with the homies.
the best Splinter Cell to me is Conviction.
Conviction was a very good one.
Conviction
I
was awesome.
think I might have missed that one.
It
I might have
came
missed
out on
that
the came out on the 360, I think, like around
Yeah.
2010 maybe. Really good
Yeah.
game though.
Yeah,
But that's another game. That was another game that I said that I thought of that gave me John Wick vibes.
yeah. I just think like a good tactical, like just a tactical shooter. There's not too many of those. Like the shooters out there. Like I mean, if you want to say shooters, you can talk about Fortnite, right? But Fortnite doesn't have, even though it might have John Wick in the game, it's not like a John Wick simulator. What I was going to say, the closest thing to it, I was telling Jan last episode, I was playing this game called Want It Dead. Have you guys heard of that?
Mm-mm.
Oh my god.
It's kind of like a John Wick simulator where it's very fast paced. A lot of the eliminations are very John Wick style. The way you can take somebody to the ground, you blow their brains out, get back up, fire down with your assault rifle, hide behind cover. It's
Peace
very
out, Lara.
fast paced.
By the makers
Oh,
of Ninja
see-
Gaiden and Dead
yeah.
Alive.
Laura's going.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's kind of. Don't get your hopes up about that game, by the way.
No, Steam reviews say it's mixed.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But I would love
Watch
to
a
talk
game
about
Sweet,
it.
though.
No, it's crazy. That game is actually bonkers.
What is it called?
Want It
Wanted.
Dead.
Wanted
Dead.
Dead.
It's like Wanted semicolon dead. Or colon dead, I think is what it is. And it's
Wanted Dead.
the voice acting is putrid. The story is trash.
Yeah.
Sometimes the
they're all-
graphics are
There are a bunch
okay.
of German voice actors who don't know how to speak English.
Yeah,
uh,
it's pretty bad, but and it's hard as shit too. I had to put it. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I had to put it down to like the lowest setting because I couldn't play it. It was getting my ass beat too much. But I'm not even.
1 second.
Yeah, I'm not even playing it anymore because I think with all these releases, I mean, you got Dead Island coming out in a couple days. I've already pre-ordered that one, so I'll be playing that day one.
Yeah,
What was that?
I was just gonna say, I just thought because they showed a preview for Dead Island before I saw John Wick, and my friend who I saw the movie with, he's a big gamer and he knows a lot more about games than I do. But like I game too, but I don't know as much as he does. But I was like, didn't Dead Island 2 come out like 10 years ago? He's like, no, it's been in development for 10 years. Like, because I remember seeing previews for that game like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
No, so what happened was 10 years ago, it was Dead Island Riptide. The Dead Island Riptide was supposed to be a second game, but they turned it into a DLC. For the new Dead Island, 2 different studios took over at different points, and they pretty much had to restart each damn time. And so the newest Dead Island, I don't have a lot of hopes for. It looks just like the first game, but reskinned in LA.
I'm fine with it.
And they took away. I'm kind of not, because they took away the open world aspect.
I'm fine with that too.
Fuck you, Tim.
I hate open worlds. I'm sorry, dude. I hate open worlds. I don't have any. It's a zombie apocalypse to me. If I don't want to fucking go into a building, don't force me to go into a building. But that I don't know. I always I appreciated the Dead Island games for what they were, especially when they first came out. That was one of my favorite zombie games, open world games on a fucking island in basically Hawaii. And then when they said Dead Island 2 was coming out, they released a trailer for it years ago, and then studios started fighting over it and who was going to develop what. And yeah. But you said that comes out in a few days. I thought it was like next month. Nope, few days. I think it's April 21st.
I just bought Resident Evil. God.
You don't buy it. You said you weren't really interested. I wouldn't buy it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll still probably buy it.
Right. You don't have to be like me. Like I'm terrible. Like I'll buy a copy and I'll buy another. I'm usually buy like 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say you wouldn't buy. Yes, you would.
Dead Island's not even on Steam. It's probably gonna be on.
I'm gonna buy it. I've already bought it.
Right.
I bought
this.
No,
if you wouldn't. No, what I'm saying is that even if you wouldn't have liked it, like even if you thought that you wouldn't like it, you would still buy it. That's what I'm saying.
Well, so here's how I do it. If I know for a fact, or at least it looks like something that interests me, I usually will buy it because I want to support the developer any way I can. Because if in my mind, if I buy it and if I can buy it, if I'm financially capable to buy it twice, then what I'm doing my part to look. I want more games like this. Like I bought Hogwarts Legacy, and I'm still sticking to it. I still think it's my game of the year because it's the game I always wanted. However, I played it, I beat it. And it's a big open world piece of shit mess. And I don't like open world. I can't stand it. Honestly, Emmett, when you going through all the things that Dead Island 2 is not going to have, it not being open world does not depress me in the slightest. I'm fine with it being open areas and not open world. I don't want open world anymore. I'm done with it. Final Fantasy 16.
But it's not open areas. That's the point. It's just like not even Resident Evil. It's more or less. Yeah, it's very linear. It's more like the first like Dead Souls or Dark Souls. You go wherever you go till the end of the game. You don't get to backtrack or anything, and that's what I don't.
Dark Souls isn't that linear.
I mean, it's pretty fucking linear.
No, it's not.
Oh yeah, I watched my brother play it 4 times, and that's exactly why I didn't play it. Because I was like, you can't go back, and he was like, no.
Yes, you can go back. What are you on about?
It must be Dark Souls 2 then, because you cannot.
Could be. I would fight you over this, but
I can't give any of this. I've quit on every Dark Souls game I've ever tried to play, so I can't say shit. So Jan, go ahead, fight him. Go, sick.
I mean, there's nothing to fight over. It's just it's bullshit.
I don't care. They're all trash except for Elden Ring.
Oh my God, hot take.
Oh yeah, no, it's a great take because they're not even in the top 50 of games.
Ooh,
I don't. That game is meant for people who love the most basic of like competitive, like what is it, game completion. I finished this whole game without getting hit. I did this. That's great. I'm proud of people that love those games, but I do not like linear stuff. I can't do that shit.
Okay. All right. Can't. So you just don't like. So you're not. So
I can do it if there's a great story. Like Last of Us is linear as fuck. You don't get to go back to a previous place. Or I don't think linear is the right word to say. There's another word for it, but I can't think of I can't think of the terminology, but I just do not disagree, or I do not agree with games who are based in an open world, but not open world. I don't like if you give me a game in space and you tell me I'm locked to 3 different planets, I'm not playing your fucking game. That's just how, unless you give me an amazing story on one planet, like Alien Isolation. You're in a spaceship the whole time. I can understand that you're in space. Great game. It's linear as fuck. Or no, it's not because you can go back to other places in the game. Right. But that's my problem with open world, especially like games nowadays. Like I feel if you give you the option to play linear, like you don't have to go to all these other places. You can do the story as you want to. I'm fully supportive of it, but I like the flexibility of doing whatever the fuck I want.
Right. So the open world formula to you is not stale, right? Because a lot of people, and probably myself and Jan, I'd like to hear Brandon's take on it. I don't think he plays nearly as much as all of us do. I don't think.
I just, like I said, I like the flexibility of it, like Red Dead Redemption 2. You don't have to enjoy that game as a open world game. You can just go to the mission, play the mission, go to the next mission, play the mission, continue through the story, do whatever it gives people the option.
Yeah,
to be like, you know what? I'm gonna go hunting. I'm not gonna go fucking meet up with Hosea and Dutch and fucking blah 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 blah. I got a plan, Arthur. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. I'm fishing. Like
plan, Arthur.
Yeah, like I want to prevent Arthur from getting sick at any cost. So I'm gonna stay in that one point in the game, fishing and hunting for the rest of my life.
Yeah, get the hell out of here and be a goddamn man.
I don't know. I mentioned Dark Souls because I just specifically remember watching my buddy play Dark Souls, and I was like, okay, so you can't go do this, and he was like, no, you can't go back to this area or whatever, and I was like,
that puzzles me to no end. I have no idea what
it was. When it was a few years ago, I remember because it's all this man would play all the time was Dark Souls, Dark Souls, Dark Souls. If he wasn't playing one Dark Souls game, he's on to another. I just remember watching him. I was like, this game looks great because he was trying to get me to play it, and I was like, I'll watch you play it, bro. And then he was like, no, you can't go back to that one area, and I was like, then why the fuck? I'm not doing this. I was like, I don't want to. It doesn't seem like there's much of a story here. And there is a story. I know, I realized that, but it wasn't intriguing to me personally because I didn't have the option to do basically whatever the fuck I want. I felt like personally, I may have to go back and replay the games, but when I was watching him play for like 3 hours, I was like, no. But which is why it frustrated me a little bit when they were like, yeah, you basically told me Zombie GTA was coming out, and then you told me I couldn't do whatever the fuck I want.
Right.
You talking about Dead Island 2?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you gave me GTA 5 in LA where I could run around, do whatever the hell I want, and then you promote basically zombie apocalypse GTA without like vehicles and shit. And it by making it more linear, I feel like is a giant setback.
Well, didn't they say? And correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe you guys heard different. I thought I was understanding was there's 3 big sections in the game, and each section was open. But it's like you just can't travel from one part of the city to the next without like a loading screen or without like a door you have to pass through, as opposed to being like seamless, like Los Santos and GTA.
Yeah, 5, see, I don't mind that. If there's like something I got to crawl to, like a hole in the wall to get to another city or another portion of the city while it's loading another map, I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. But if you limit me to where I can't go back to certain things, that's what I don't like. Unless it's a game like The Last of Us or Red Dead, or not even Red Dead, because like I said, you can be like, man, I'm going to Valentine to go rob the bank at any point in time. And but like I said, it's just simple games like Dying Light 2. Even though they set a story for that, it's still open, and that's one of my favorite things about it. Because if I don't feel like playing the story, I'm gonna hit alleyways, I'm gonna loot buildings, and that's my favorite thing about open world games or games where you give players the option to loot, go through dressers, go through stuff like that, exploring a dead planet. Basically, I want all of it. I want to be able to pick up a fucking something off the ground, find some ammunition, a fucking piece of paper. I want to be able to open car doors. I want to be able to do everything that I can. Now, if they do make it linear, but they make it super detailed to the point where I can just open whatever the fuck I want and gather whatever supplies I want, I'll meet them halfway, and I'll still agree it's an amazing game. But when you limit people to certain things, that's what I don't like.
No, that's a good point. No, I just didn't know. I just didn't know if you knew. Like I said, I think I heard there was supposed to be 3 separate locations, and all 3 of them are supposed to be somewhat open. So if
If
that's
it
the
is
case,
like that, I won't have a problem with it.
yeah,
If at least somewhat open, I just don't want it to be like The Last of
because there's
Us
side
in
quests
Dead
in the game.
Island, because it's
Yeah,
like,
right.
man, I'm not interested in a Dead Island storyline.
Yeah, yeah. Like there's side quests in the game. You know, there's actually side objectives you can do within the game. So it's got to be like somewhat open, right? I mean, for it to have side activities, I would think. You know, at least
That's
you
what I hope
know.
for. But for the details that I read, it looked like they were like, yeah, we've instead of going with a fully open world thing, we're locking down some of it and we're making it. Yeah, and I was like, I'm gonna have to wait on it.
How about God of War Ragnarok? Right?
Great game.
They have they have sections where it's semi open. There's some that's just straight up linear, right? There's
Yeah.
only one direction, but there's other areas that are semi open. Is that something
I like
you
that. I like because
like
it's
that?
flexible.
Okay.
Again, that gives you the flexibility to be like, oh, there is a story that I need to go do, but you also have the option to get in a boat and go do whatever the fuck you want at any point in
Dude,
time.
Dark
as a
Souls is
kid.
like 10 times more flexible than God of War Ragnarok. Like, I
And
don't know.
I'd have to
what
see
your
which one, because
friend
the
was
one
smoking.
Dick's Dark Souls game I watched him play, I don't know if it was the first one or the second one.
Like,
He told me he couldn't go back to whatever area it was because I was interested in the area that he was fighting in and it looked cool. And I was like, what about that one area? I would just grind that out. And he was like, no, you can't go back. And I was like,
I'm really trying to squeeze my brain to remember if there is any game, any Dark Souls game, if there's just any area in any of those games where you can go back.
I don't know the details of them to an extent because I read that as a fact from the game. So I was just like, nope, fuck that. I'm not playing it. I played Elden Ring when it first came out because I was like, open world, thank God.
Right. Well, you know what? I'm just gonna take a wild stab at it and say that your friend just doesn't know what he's talking about. I mean, that's that's it.
He very much could have been. He very much that could have been a thing. That is definitely an option. He's somewhat out there, and not saying he's right at all. He might have just told me that to shut me up. I might have just been complaining. I've been like, "So you going back to that other area?" What? He'd be like, "No, stop it."
Yeah,
No, I cannot do it. Cannot.
I see. I know that's really throwing Jan through a loop. I think it's crazy. Is like those games. I wish I was good at them. I wish I could be because aesthetically, they're. I love the way they look. Like the god, especially like Elden Ring. That very medieval setting. Like a lot of them had that medieval setting. Like what's the one that came out for PlayStation? The remake.
Demon Souls.
Yes, Demon Souls looks phenomenal. That's immaculate on PS5. That's like one of the greatest. Honestly, up to this point, one of the best looking games on the console. Like, I mean, y'all would agree with that, right? We all got PS5s, right?
Not anymore. Oh,
right?
Yeah, actually, no, I do. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, I haven't loaded up Demon Souls on it though.
Dude.
No way.
Yeah, I see it. Well, why am I looking over? Like, I can't see out through your
You're
camera.
just like-
You fucking idiot! Like I'm over like, oh, let me see. Like you freaking dumbass. Like what?
You can
I
also
can't
see.
shit.
You can see my Switch peeking out behind it. I don't know if you can make that
Yeah,
out.
I can see it.
Yeah, that piece of shit.
No, it's funny because what you guys said earlier, like because there's times like I will go long periods of time without touching my Switch, and then when I start playing it again, I can't put it down because like I gotta start playing it again. But I love Animal Crossing, and like I played Animal Crossing
Same.
for
I play Animal
hours at a
Crossing
time.
religiously. I bought my wife and my sister's Switch just to play that game with me.
It's a lot of fun. Like you do absolutely nothing, and it's so much fun. I don't know why. And the most recent Kirby game I played a lot. Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Addicting, and there's another one that the newest Metroid game that came out. Metroid Dread. Yeah, that game was fun too. I basically only buy like exclusives for the Switch because there's better.
I buy the exclusives, and then I'll buy the multiplayer games, like the fun like party pack games,
like Mario Party.
Yeah, Mario Party, Mario Kart,
Brothers,
Smash Bros. What is it? The Jackbox games.
Jackbox was fun.
Splatoon.
Yep.
Splatoon.
Splatoon's really good as well. I like the new Wii Sports as well. Yeah. What is it? Or Nintendo Switch Sports Resort.
Nintendo Switch Sports. Yeah.
I will beat the shit out of anybody in that game. I don't touch it, but every few months. But I don't know why I love that game so much. As a kid, when I first got my first Wii and we were playing Switch or Nintendo Wii Sports, I figured out like how to jerk the controller the correct way to get the fucking bowling balls to fly across the screen, basically. And I was obsessed with the game ever since. But other than that, I don't really touch my Switch. I take that back. I played it like the other day for like 6 hours straight because of the if you subscribe to the Nintendo Switch Online thing, they give you the Game Boy Advance, the Sega, the NES games, all of the classic 64 games. They give you pretty much majority of the good ones.
I did not know that. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, so I pay, what is it? It's a few bucks a month for it, but I think I paid the $25 a year for the family plan thing.
Right.
And when you do that, it gives you access to all the old Game Boy games, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, SP, all those. They have everything on there except for like the old gen Pokemon games. And they're releasing those separately, of course, because they know they're going to be popular for people to just buy individually.
Yeah.
For sure.
Think about recycled trash that is. That's like literally the same game every time. And you know what? I'm a sucker. I usually buy them. And I'm 27 years old, almost 27, and I still like Pokemon games. That's like literally the only game I play on Switch. And other than that, like I got Pokemon Arceus, I think that's what it's called. It's like that is like an open world Pokemon game. And you know,
that's the recent one I bought. Yeah.
We've been waiting forever for a game like that. I haven't even started it yet, so I don't even know anything about it. I just bought it.
It's good, but I'm a little disappointed in the graphics for some of the modern Pokemon games. It's like they just knew, they're like, it's Pokemon, it's going to sell, and so they drop it out. And the newest one, I don't think it's Arceus. it is Arceus, the open world one.
Open world, yeah, but there was another one that came out in November, I think.
Sword and Shield.
Sword and Shield, yeah. I bought that too. And the graphics from a distance, you're watching characters literally move slowly, and they're clipping and doing shit until you're within like 10 feet of them. And it's like, dude, I'm literally. Are we playing on the same system as Breath of the Wild right now? Because you're fucking me up. It's like I shouldn't be seeing more details in a Zelda game. And which, I mean, I should see a lot of details in the Zelda game, but Pokemon for dragging your ass all the way here, Nintendo, or fucking whatever, the Pokemon company,
Game Freak.
Thank you. Fucking no, they definitely, the past few releases, they were just like, they didn't give a fuck. They were like, it's Pokemon, they're gonna buy it.
Yeah,
put a color on it, slap a letter on it. And it got sales.
And they did.
And still bad reviews, but for some reason, one of the most bought games ever on the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah. They just gotta, and we'll wrap this up here in a minute because I know it's getting late for Jan over there. But like I think what it comes down to is the power, right? They just, for some reason, Nintendo will not invest money into putting more power into their consoles, dude. If they would just do that, like I would be more susceptible to buy the new Zelda game like day one. Like I just can't, like 30 FPS, I just can't do it. I mean, even my PC, my shit PC I can run most games, like especially the older games, especially games that look like shit off the Nintendo Switch. I can get 100 FPS. These games look like shit. It's not like this is God of War. It's not like it's like RDR2, right? Think about RDR2 on the fucking Switch, right? That would never be able to make it. There's no way they're gonna fit that big ass game on this little card, right? Which I know that's not obviously the case. Obviously, the card goes in and then it pulls the software from the store. I get all that, but like I just think it's so underpowered, and they don't care. Like they're like whatever, dude. Like you say, I mean, like Emmett was saying, it's like their properties. They know, like, look, PlayStation doesn't have Mario, so go fuck yourself. We got Mario. We got Pokemon. We have Zelda. We have Metroid. So kiss our ass and play at 30 FPS. And I bought Link's Awakening on Switch like a couple years ago. Link's Awakening. It literally looks like one of the old school top-down Zelda games. Yeah. Only the graphics are way better. It's not like digitized. It's more 3D graphics, but it's top-down like an old Zelda game. I was like, that's cool, man. That'll take me back to the old NES days. I play it. I'm getting like 15 frames per second. And I'm getting sick. Like I'm starting to feel like stomach sick. Like this is bullshit. Yeah. This little ass game. This looks like something I could play on my phone. I feel like my phone. I have the iPhone 14 Pro Max, right? I feel like I have more power in that phone.
Oh, you definitely do. You definitely do. That's what. That was another thing I was going to bring up. That iPhone, and then like nearest, like over the next year, if you haven't been paying attention to Apple, they have been investing tons and tons of money into their game store. So like, I don't know if you have an app, if you have an iPhone now, but you can play Alien Isolation in over 60 FPS easily on your phone. I've been making this argument for years that all these phone companies, Samsung devices, Apple devices, if they partnered with Sony, if they partnered with Microsoft, if they partnered with Steam, all these games that you're playing on your Steam Deck, your Nintendo Switch, they run perfectly fine on your brand new fucking iPhone or your brand new Samsung. Like your phones are more powerful than a Nintendo Switch. And nobody, like, every time I talk about it, no one's ever like, what? And it's like I'm playing Alien Isolation in 4K on an iPhone 13, and like what the fuck? I got Alien Isolation. I mean, Hyperlight Drifter's not graphic intensive whatsoever. PUBG, Call of Duty, like what? Yeah,
they have Resident Evil 4 on there for a little while. The original, not the remake, obviously.
But still, they run perfectly fine in shitty quality, and you're like, what the fuck? How are they? And then you put a game with great quality on there. Like, again, like I said, Alien Isolation. I didn't think it was going to run that well. And I was like...
Yep. And now you can get the adapter that you can put on each end of your phone for a controller. So, I mean, really, really having a Nintendo Switch is obsolete at this point. The only reason you'd have it is just for these, like Brandon was talking about earlier with the exclusives. I mean, unless you freaking love Mario or Zelda or any of those, or Pokemon or whatever, you're not really missing out because it's a very shitty console. Like I have the Switch OLED, and the picture looks good, but if I'm running at 15
a lot better
FPS,
than the OG Switch.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But if I'm running 15 FPS on all my games, it's not really a huge difference. So yeah, dude, the Switch is kind of obsolete. I'm hoping with their next one do something. But I just don't like Nintendo, man. I don't care. Like I'll get 2 PS5s, which I'm working on that. I should have.
Why are you getting 2 PS5?
I need one for the office, man. I got one hooked up to the big screen out in the living room, and then I got to have
save $500 or $5 a month every time you bring it into your office.
Dude, I don't want to move it. I just want one in here.
You don't build a damn PC. Buys another PS5.
I tell you what. I'll if we get everything together, I'll get you to pick the pieces out for me, and we'll build it. How about that?
Oh, I'll build it for you in like 2 hours.
Well, good.
Hand it over to you.
Just tell me what I need, and I'll see how much I got, and we'll go from there.
I've got both. I've got both, and I play them both. So
yeah. Now I used to play my PC, but like I said, I can't play anything like like I was playing Batman Arkham Knight, and I was getting like a solid 90 FPS, which is more on console. So like I'll take it, but like I can't anything too crazy. Like I wouldn't dare do RDR2. My shit would explode. Like any games like that, anything like Resident Evil 4 remake. I don't know. It might run okay, but I'll tell you right now, it's probably gonna make it explode. Last of Us, it's definitely detonating for sure. Any of these big budget games, it's just not gonna happen. So, and that's fine. You know what I mean? Like the console has always been more comfortable to me because I know it. But like Emmett said, I would eventually love to have a powerful rig, man. But it takes a lot of time and money. I mean, Emmett knows that. He's got all the good shit. So it takes a lot of time. You got to say, why do I got 2 PS5s? Because I saved and I fucking bought it. All right. What are you, my financial advisor?
No. I'm just look. If I was to advise you, I'd say don't get that PS5. Get a PC. Now I'm being your financial advisor.
All right. Well, I'll take it. But
I do understand because I did the same thing before I had a PC, I had an Xbox in my office, and I had an Xbox in the living room.
Yeah. I know it sounds stupid, but it's like taking one from one room to the other. It's a hassle. So I just rather just get the shit just right here, and then I don't have to move it. It'll never move. It'll stay right here. So that's the vision. And I'm still not done with it, but I do plan to do some streaming here soon. I want to try to keep the Twitch channel alive when we're not streaming to the Twitch channel every 2 weeks. So I'm hoping Tuesday will be my first stream. So if you guys are around, check it out. I might play like Spider-Man or just something small, just whatever, just playing whatever and just chilling. That's kind of how I want to. I just want to keep the channel alive when we're not streaming here. But look, Jan looks like he's about to fall over dead. So really,
sorry guys.
Really quick before we go, is there anything you guys want to say before we leave? I'll give it to you, Emmett. I appreciate you coming on the show. Is there anything you'd like to say before we cut on out of here?
Other than thank you for having me and thank you for letting me rant and. Other than that, that's mostly it. See y'all next time.
All right, good. We'll have you back for sure as long as you're willing to come back. Brandon, again, I appreciate you, man, for coming last minute onto the show. You've been a
Yeah,
big help, and it was good to have you on for The Last of Us. So, is there anything you want to say to the people? Anything you're working on your channel? Because you got your own channel, Murata Media. I try to pass your channel along, man. I'm trying to help you build, dude. I'm trying my best to any new, like I try to do the same thing with Lyra. Lyra's fairly bigger than us over here at Deadhead 96. I try to bring people on and try to help people out. So is anything you're working on you want to tell anybody?
I just posted a review the other day of Air, the movie about Nike trying to sign Michael Jordan.
Oh yeah. Is that good?
It's a fantastic movie. It's currently my second favorite movie of the year. And my next review, which I still got to write it, but I'll probably try to get it out maybe by tomorrow if I get it all done. We'll be on the new Super Mario Brothers movie. So
there you go. What's your channel called again?
Murata Media, Marotta Media.
Oh, by the way, that reminds me, both of you guys, both Brandon and Emmett, put your Twitch channel name down in the comments, and Brandon, put your channel name down in the comments. Lyra wanted to know. She's gonna give you guys a follow, pass it around. She's a really good collaborator. She's helped us out. I mean, she invited us over to her Discord. They've been real nice to us. We've gotten a lot of our Twitch followers from having her on the show. So she's willing to help anybody out and whatever. So she's been a real good collaborator. Nice. We'll have to have a show with all of us on there. She's pretty cool girl to talk to and have on the show. And like I said, Harry Potter head through the roof, man. She surpasses me.
Will she see this? Because this is the private chat.
Oh, yeah, it's a private chat.
Yeah, in the comment section, it doesn't let me.
I can't comment on the comment section either.
Well, that's fine. I tell you what, I'll take both of you guys' profiles and social media stuff, and I'll send it to her, and she'll pass it around a little bit. Jan, is there anything else you want to say to the people before we get on out of here?
Oh yeah, of course. Look out for that next episode, which is going to be all about Resident Evil. Oh, I'm sorry, Resident Evil. That's going to be great. And
Resident Evil 4, baby.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, so, I've beaten it twice. Jan is going to be working on his first playthrough. So next episode 23, will be everything Resident Evil 4 remake, and hopefully you guys will come back to see it. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. As usual, you wouldn't mind following us on everywhere. Our link tree is in our bios. Follow us everywhere. Sub to the YouTube channel, and definitely give us some more traction on Twitch. That's been a real nice spot for us. We've gotten a lot of eyes through Twitch, and I think we'll definitely. I was kind of posting to the Facebook fan page, to YouTube, and Twitter. And I honestly think Twitch is the way to go, man. I think we're getting a lot more eyes over here. So thank you guys again for watching, and thank you guys for coming on. Thank you, Brandon, for coming on last minute, and we'll see you in the next one. Stay dead, my friends. Sir.
You guys be